Mike Olson in the newsroom, strangely enough, dressed today in an Obi-Wan Kenobi robe. Matt, I love the Chewbacca outfits you've got on with the Princess Leia buns. That is a combo I did not think that I would see. I think the statute of limitations will be 7 o'clock, and I think the over-under on saying May the 4th be with you, I've got to be honest, we are on for 4 hours. I'm going to say 10, and I would take the over. It is a pleasure to have you with us. Nice to see moisture again, just like yesterday when we talked with the National Weather Service. I think it was yesterday or the day before. The moisture should stick around and then clearing by tomorrow. And then, boy, over the weekend, whoo-wee, mid to upper 80s by Saturday and sunshine. How are you doing, friends? A full day plus after the leak. Boy, have I thought about this a lot. I usually say probably once a month or so, I don't take the job home with me. Thinking about news, I try to, distance myself, whether now because of the NBA playoffs or congratulations, by the way, to the Colorado Avalanche. Huge first win last night. I think it was 5-0 before, you got out of the nacho line at Pepsi Center. So congratulations on a good start. The Nuggets, of course, are no longer in the playoffs. But I usually then go home and I'll watch some sports. And boy, with this, how did it happen? Reading and listening like you, and it's still, to me, just unbelievable. And we'll get into in this first segment. Those friends of ours on the left that all they want is unity. All they want is to just extend the hand and, have you take the olive branch that is in the hand. They just want peace and quiet. Like, for example, in Los Angeles last night. Now, other than that, it was fine. It was just fine. That had kind of inklings of Denver in decay, circa Summer of Hell 2020. These people are insane. And once again, who's out there risking literally and potentially their lives? Men and women in blue. And in that particular piece of video, the cop, back off, back off, back off. Well, here comes a mob, and there were other officers around. I'm telling you, the restraint that these officers have shown in the past, you can, by the way, Derek Chauvin, a la, the man who killed George Floyd, today, I believe now was sentenced 20 to 25 years in prison, in that range. But you can have our friends on the left and, of course, the non-friends, the Antifa and BLM criminals, thugs, idiots, opportunists, whatever you want to call them. They can tell you all day long, well, just look at George Floyd. Here locally, they'll be the first to point to Aurora and the Aurora Police Department and Elijah McClain. Both those stories are horrible. But for the vast majority of every call answered by police and sheriff's deputies in this country in a given day, there's much more restraint. And last night, watching this video, I don't know how, sure, it would have been his last probably moments as a free man, if you will, even if he was, say, acquitted. Had he taken a swing with his baton, which they're touching him. I mean, to me, I don't know how it is like literally on the books, but you touch a police officer, your ass should go down and your ass should go to jail. But seeing something like that in Los Angeles, of course, the reaction to the leak, what are they going to do? They're going to show restraint because it's mob rule. It's mob mentality. All over local news last night, overnight, this morning, this afternoon. Have you noticed the Denver media? Shocking. I'm stunned. Just almost glorifying those individuals who came out to the state capitol yesterday. I mean, just live shots, headlines, radio reports, blogs, internet rags with headlines. Coloradans take a stand. It's so ridiculous. But again, it all comes back to unity. We need and want unity. I'll give you the ways to get in touch with the program today and preview what is coming up ahead. We are on until 7 o'clock tonight. I have no idea if what happened last night inside the Hollywood Bowl has anything to do with the leak. But I admit, I only found out about this earlier this afternoon. Comedian Dave Chappelle, who I think is on the Mount Rushmore of comedic legends ever, somebody ran onto the stage and tackled or attempted to take Dave Chappelle down.
Some noise for hip hop history.
And by the looks of it, the idiot that decided to try to go on stage, well, he did go on stage and he did tackle Dave Chappelle. Yeah, that might have been the wrong thing to do. And I'm just wondering now, is that guy going to now sue? He'll sue, say, Dave Chappelle, his security team, maybe the Hollywood Bowl, which, by the way, sidebar, is an incredible place to see a concert if you have not. And you can probably assume the Hollywood Bowl is in, yes, Hollywood, not Florida, California. It's insanity. Here's the funniest part, and I'm sure Matt and I were talking about it just a little bit. The funniest part is Chappelle comes back and he's like, whoa, was that Will Smith? And who was at his concert last night at the Hollywood Bowl? Chris Rock. That's absolutely awesome. Of course, the conspiracy theorist would say, it was all for show. Like Balloon Boy. It was all for the show, Daddy. Does everybody get if I say Balloon Boy like a drop from the past in this state? If you are fairly new to Colorado, do yourself a favor. You didn't have to be living here at the time, but read up, like take your phone. If you go to the restroom with your phone, just Google Balloon Boy, Colorado. It's all for the show. We have got a great show ahead. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, Matt says it's been a year since we've talked with our friends about the Denver Veterans Job Fair that they hold, I think at least once a year, if not twice, but we'll clear that up. But tomorrow is the Denver Veterans Job Fair. It is from 11 in the morning tomorrow to 3 o'clock in the afternoon at Mile High Stadium. We will have Recruit Military's executive and event director on with us. And we've done this a few times with them over the years. And just in case you know a veteran, just in case you are a veteran, and perhaps you want a job, a new job, a better job, be with us. She's coming up here at the bottom of the hour, and we are certainly happy to get Recruit Military's message out to our great audience. 3 ways, let's call it 5 ways now. Oh, yeah, 3 to 5. Our phone number, 303-696-1971, one of the 5 ways to get in touch with us. The Wall of Love, the 710 KNUS app. You can text the studio. hour and do a whole bunch more on the app. Our website, 710knus.com/Steffan. We welcome our potential global audience listening live stream via the app or the website. Podcasts, commercial break free, available via both. And social media at Tub Show, TUBBS show on Twitter. I do find it interesting, and maybe you have if you're on Twitter. All of a sudden, since this whole Elon Musk thing, all of a sudden now we're getting more followers. I love it. In fact, Matt, I think we should have had a celebration yesterday, but it was yesterday, so why have, the trumpets and balloons and cake? But we hit 3,000 followers at Tub Show. For our little show, that's pretty damn good. And again, as long as Twitter and Facebook allow us to free advertise our program and what's coming up, we will certainly take advantage of it. So that's the fourth way. And we are live right now on YouTube. Is that the 710KNUS YouTube channel? Are you switching cameras and stuff? Or is it, Matt, how is it with our YouTube deal? Is it going okay?
Yeah, it's going great.
Yeah.
I like the look.
All right. Well, hi, YouTube, and thank you. We gotta get in the habit of reminding people that we are live streaming on YouTube as well. So again, our number 303-696-1971. This first segment, I want to play for you just a little bit more, kind of the recap of the leak. We'll see if there's any kind of new developments today. And also, if you have not heard, I never like to say I told you so, so I very, very, very rarely do it. But in this case, I did tell you it was time to refi many months ago because the Fed did something today for the first time since the year 2000.
The Federal Reserve is raising its key interest rate 0.5%, the biggest increase in 22 years. It's part of its effort to tame inflation and rising costs for Americans. Fed Chair Jerome Powell.
We've got to get back to price stability so that we can have a labor market where people's wages aren't being eaten up by inflation.
Powell says the Fed is prepared for more similar rate hikes, but financial analysts worry it could trigger a recession. Steve Dorsey, CBS News, the Federal Reserve.
17 minutes now past 3 o'clock. Again, yesterday, just to recap the statement from the Chief Justice, John Roberts. He went in a statement, a written statement, that what happened with the leak a couple of nights ago, of course, broken by the news site, political news site Politico. Justice Roberts said this was a singular and egregious breach of the trust that is an affront to the court and the community of public servants who work here. As we told you, he has directed the marshal of the court to start an investigation. I would say it probably should this be a Watergate type length investigation? I sure as hell don't think so. I would say, I bet you they know now. They may have known yesterday. How did this happen? And after thinking about it, like I was saying earlier, thinking about it last night when I got home and all day today, just various times, how does this happen? No, not my Supreme Court. The only place I thought that was, like I said, impervious to anything like this. I still think it was a leak. I think this was absolutely intentional for all of the reasons we discussed yesterday, and I'm sure will continue throughout at least the rest of the week.
While the draft majority opinion penned by Justice Samuel Alito says it should only be read to apply to abortion rights, President Biden says he fears its logic could be used to undermine such things as access to contraception and LGBT rights.
What are the next things that are going to be attacked?
He said followers of former President Trump subscribe to an extreme agenda.
This MAGA crowd is really the most extreme political organization that's existed in American history.
Stephen Portnoy, CBS News, the White House.
Well, there's always the president. Good for a soundbite. Coming up, we'll take a phone call, and then on the other side of the phone call, and then we'll get news with Blake coming up. You knew this would happen, and if you thought perhaps if any company out there, in reaction to the potential of Roe v. Wade being overturned, if you thought that there were major companies out there that would say, offer their employees, well, here, we'll help you get an abortion, even if it's in another state. Well, there is one, at least that I know of. And I wonder if you and your household, would you be able to boycott this company? It's a tough one. We'll have that coming up. Again, our number 303-696-1971. Tricia in Centennial joins us. Good afternoon, and thank you for the call.
Hi, Steffan.
Hi.
My point about this was that people are running their mouths about abortion being illegal, and that is clearly not happening.
Right.
The judiciary usurped a legislative process that had been ongoing in the states at the time the SCOTUS ruling in 1973 happened. So, if they had left it alone, what would have happened is that different states would have passed different laws, and that is in fact what's already happening. I think a lot of states have already anticipated this, and some passed trigger laws that would, in the event Roe gets
Correct.
overturned. But yeah.
And
So,
Tricia, let me point out something that I said, and I don't know if you heard me say this a few moments ago. Like I said, the Denver media, which would champion most anything, especially if it's on the side where the side of the aisle where they all live. But yesterday, down at the state capitol, what are these people even wasting one moment of their time or their breath? Don't they know?
Well, that's what's crazy.
Yeah, don't they know that they're
gonna
in a
fight.
state? Exactly. Don't they know that they're in a state right now where go ahead and go full term. You can kill it here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, and the reason they're doing this is that they want the idiot brigade to get out there and start jumping up and down and feel threatened that the abortion rights are being overturned nationwide.
Yep.
They are propagating that story, and it's completely false, and they ought to be called out on it. What's happening instead is federalism is happening, and there's not a problem with that. I am obviously pro-life, but the fact that different states are going to do different things about it, the left can't stand that. They want centralized control of every darn thing.
Yep.
And so even though SCOTUS actually provided kind of scant protection, really, because it was a lousy ruling. So it was bound to get overturned at some point anyway. And so the state laws that passed, those states, bad or good as they are reflective of the body politic. The SCOTUS ruling isn't reflective. It's in fact an imposition. So the difference between imposing their will centrally and reflecting their will from the bottom up, that's the difference between a SCOTUS ruling and legislated laws.
You are a terrific way to start off the program. Thank you, Tricia. I hope you call again. Great points. And she is exactly right. But what is the narrative on the internet? Probably on CNN. Certainly on MSNBC. I bet you they were crying. Some of them were crying on the air yesterday. I didn't tune in to see it firsthand. What they are focusing on is if Roe is overturned, look at all these states where you can't get an abortion. And the magic number, by the way, I know you probably know this, is 26 right now. 26 states. Well, at last check, there are 50 states in this country. A politician years ago, was it Obama? Like we had 58 states or 52 states, whatever it is, or whoever it was. They'll focus on the 26 states, not the 24, including the state that most of you are in right now, the state of Colorado. I want to double down on the point, what I said to Tricia. These people out there at the state capitol yesterday, these people should be at home and have their feet up on the desk, arms behind their necks. We're safe here. They got nothing to worry about. This state has no problem in killing. No, Don't let them ever tell you it's a fetus. Like we said yesterday, these are babies that just happen to be in their mother, in the womb. But here, no. I've thought about it, Doc, and it is just going to be too much of a problem. It is disgusting. So before we head to the break, I told you about a company, and sadly, you knew this was going to happen, and apparently there are many. Earlier this week, Amazon told its staff that the company would pay up to $4,000 in travel expenses for employees who need non-life-threatening medical treatments, including abortions. So if you were an Amazon employee in Texas, we'll just fly you up to Denver. You just get out to DFW and we'll take care of the rest. Well, of course, you'll have to go through it yourself in Colorado. But we got your back, babe. Sickening. Now, the question is, you just heard that, maybe for the first time, maybe some of you knew about it already. Could you boycott Amazon? You Amazon Prime members? We'll take a break. We've got news coming up, and then our guest about the job fair tomorrow at Mile High Stadium. Other companies that are doing this, like Amazon, Citigroup, that's just kind of a big financial institution. Yelp, Uber, and Lyft. There's got to be a joke in there somewhere about Uber and Lyft. Hey, again, if you're, say, in Dallas, why don't you hop on in this Uber or Lyft complimentary drive to Denver and Decay? We're going out of our minds here. That's why you need to keep your feet on the ground. So do I. And by God, we'll try to get through it with common sense. 303-696-1971. We have our great guest coming up. We just want to inform about the Veterans Job Fair. If you are by chance looking in the mirror going, gosh, dang, I don't have as much hair as I used to. You know what? At Advanced Hair Restoration, they can reverse years or even decades of hair loss. They've got a simple one-day treatment. Your own natural hair begins to regrow the very next day. And be sure to ask about the Advanced Hair Guarantee. Your new hair is backed by that guarantee, and it works for bald spots, receding hairlines, thinning hair for men and women across all age ranges. Their advanced FUE treatment has already changed tens of thousands of people's lives, so let them help you. Set up your free consultation, 720-459-HAIR. Get special financing, 250 free hair grafts plus $250 off. You can start regrowing your own natural hair today. The number, 720-459-HAIR. Be sure to ask about the Advanced Hair Guarantee and see those before and after pictures at advancedhair.com. We will take a break when we come back. Attention all veterans, or attention all folks who know veterans. A job fair tomorrow. Great companies there. We'll talk about it next.
One crash on the highway this afternoon being reported westbound 70 near Quebec, Monaco. That's exit 278. Slow there back toward Havana. And busy once you pass that wreck over through that construction. There's some emergency road work. Sounds like pothole repair westbound 70 between Denver West and Colfax. Out on the west end, it's not really causing much of a delay. 270 getting busier. I-25 starting to get heavier into downtown. Wreck in the downtown drive, Spear and Wewata. And a crash at 38th and Tower Road. I'm Susan Phelan.
This report is sponsored by Audible. Whatever you love listening to, you'll find it on Audible. Best-selling audiobooks, exclusive originals, podcasts, and more. Sign up and start free at audible.com.
Why Boot Barn for your business? Because nothing is more important than your workers' safety and your peace of mind. With a commercial account at Boot Barn, you get a customized program specific to your business. The largest assortment of work boots and workwear for every industry. The convenience of having a one-source nationwide supplier and nationwide customization. You need safety and compliance. We have your back. Commercial accounts at Boot Barn work.
It's springtime in the Rockies. Come and explore beautiful Carbon County, Wyoming. There's no better time of year to enjoy the natural mineral hot springs in Saratoga. Soak your bones in the healing waters of the Hobo Hot Pool, free to the public and open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. For information and directions, visit WyomingCarbonCounty.com or call 324-3020. Carbon County, Wyoming. Get your West on.
Hi, it's Mike Gallagher for MediShare. If something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, right? Switching to MediShare to pay for health care can save the typical family $500 a month. Wow, what would you do with $500 extra every single month? Pay some bills, fill up your gas tank, even as challenging as that is these days. Maybe take a vacation. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. I learned that the customer satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. It's amazing. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. And the very best part of all is that people save money and they're happier with MediShare. MediShare is a godsend. Give them a call right now, 855-94-BIBLE. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. MediShare, here's the number, 855-94-BIBLE. That's 855-94-BIBLE. For MediShare.
Brad was a young father who worked on a farm. One day, his tractor rolled over and crushed his pelvis. He had a long and expensive recovery. Like many of faith, Brad turned to his healthcare sharing ministry, a community of Christian believers who share one another's medical bills and pray for each other too. They were there for Brad and shared the entirety of his bill, over $100,000. Now, Colorado legislators are debating a deeply misguided bill, HB 1269. The bill would impose costly burdens on healthcare sharing ministries. It would also place these faith-based charities that are not involved in insurance under the thumb of the state insurance bureaucracy. Enough is enough. Do we really want government meddling in the religious communities of more than 50,000 Coloradans? It's time to take action. Tell your senator to oppose HB 1269 and keep the government out of Christian healthcare. Visit SaveChristianHealthcare.org to learn more. SaveChristianHealthcare.org.
All your drywall projects are satisfaction guaranteed with the team at 123drywall.com. Drywall Finishing. They're the experts with decades of experience and satisfied customers. The quality work they do over a handyman can make a huge difference. From the small fixes to big projects like custom home finishings and remodels, this is the team to trust. Give Kelly a call. Set up your free estimate. 303-988-1709. That's 303-988-1709 or 123drywall.com and tell them Steffan sent you.
Are you wondering what you can do to have a direct impact on the war on drugs and homelessness in Colorado? George Brockler here. If you have a vehicle you're not using, consider donating your vehicle to Step Denver to give men the opportunity for a safe, sober, structured place to call home as they work to recover and rebuild their lives. If you have a car, truck, RV, or boat, contact Step Denver today. For a free tow, hassle-free, call 303-296-9020 or visit stepdenver.org. That's 303-296-9020 or stepdenver.org.
News Talk 710 KNUS. Listen live on Odyssey.
A local Catholic
Just sent a picture in via the 710 KNUS app, snowing on Bailey right now. So be careful if you're up there, possibly getting any snow, and nice to get some moisture down here up and down the I-25 corridor. One reminder for you, just in case, I don't know, maybe you were out of the country yesterday. Maybe you were asleep the whole time we were on. Congresswoman Lauren Boebert. You can catch her full interview in hour number 3 of yesterday's podcast. You can access those via the app or our website and just become a 710 KNUS club member. You can get all the details if you haven't visited our website in a while, or maybe you've never been there. if you are new to the program, my name is Steffan. Behind the scenes, running things, his name is Matt. Blake is in the newsroom. And we support our veterans here on this program unabashedly. And one of our friends is the event director for Recruit Military. Jennifer Haddock joins us. And how long has it been since we've had you on? Matt said it's been a fair amount of time.
It has, Steffan. Thank you so much for having me back. I am excited to be back in town, help supporting our area veterans, connect with employers across the region.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you, and thank you for your sacrifice. You are a United States Navy veteran. You're a military spouse. We like to present this information, so maybe, just maybe, because you never know who's listening, they can maybe get a veteran they know, or if somebody is listening and they're a veteran, they want to get a job or a new job or whatever. So give us all the details and take your time.
Sure. So tomorrow at Empower Field at Mile High, we are going to be hosting the DAV Recruit Military Veteran Career Fair. We have over 80 exhibitors that are going to be on site looking to fill positions not only here in Denver, but across the state of Colorado, across the Rocky Mountain region, even across the country. So some of those employers that you might know by brand name, we're going to have Lockheed Martin out there, PepsiCo, Excel Energy, Colorado Department of Human Services. We've got organizations that are looking to fill warehouse supervisor positions, operator trainees. I mean, what I love about these events is it really allows job seekers to come in and regardless of their background, see employers that value the experience that they've gained in the military and any additional information or opportunities or experience that they've gained since leaving the military. And they have that face-to-face interaction and are really able to make those connections in a meaningful way. So we're going to be out there from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's going to be a great day. The weather's supposed to be beautiful, so I'm excited to have folks out. And it's exclusive for our veteran community, so that means all transitioning service members, veterans, reservists, guardsmen, and as well our backbone of our military community, our military spouses, their family members. So it's going to be a really great event for folks to start making connections and networking with employers.
Recruit Military's event director, Jennifer Haddock. We've had her on before, and we're certainly happy to tell you, friends listening, about the job fair. Again, it's tomorrow. That is Cinco de Mayo, 11 to 3 at Mile High Stadium. I want to ask you, do you have any anecdotes? Like, I don't even know if it doesn't even necessarily have to be, the job fairs you guys put on here in Colorado, but, you've got maybe a veteran that has maybe had a tough time getting a job or has gone from job to job to job, but they come to an event like yours and look at them now, so to speak.
So it happens all of the time. At my last event, I was actually in Charlotte last week running an event out at Bojangles Stadium. And I was speaking with one of the exhibitors, right? One of the employers themselves. And he had actually attended one of our events, met his current employer, and now he's sitting across the table recruiting for more veterans.
Crazy.
So it's just such a great experience. And people really have that ability to make connections because at these events, many of the employers send veterans, right? They send individuals that have walked the walk, can talk the talk, and understand where these veteran job seekers are coming from and the experience that they bring. So it's much easier to make those connections, like I said earlier, in a meaningful way, in an environment that's exclusive for that community.
Let me ask you about from the potential employer's perspective, this is a good chance for you to not only, brag for yourself, I hope, but for veterans that have gone through it and they're disciplined and so much more. What does a veteran bring to a potential employer?
I love this question because my first response is, what don't they bring, right? They're highly trained. You think about it. You have individuals that many of them are coming straight out of high school or straight out of college, and they're gaining leadership experience. They're receiving advanced training on everything from nuclear combat systems to tank mechanics,
Yeah.
right? You think about all of these things that they're doing, and they're put in high stress situations. They're leading their fellow service members, their fellow sailors, Marines. So they're gaining experience when it comes to leadership very early on in their careers, and they're just developing beyond that. They're mission oriented. They work well in team environments. And you really think about it, you have the junior level individuals that are coming out looking to still work within the trades fields. You have individuals that are looking for operations management positions. And then you have individuals that have led entire commands, so that executive level leadership. So with these events, it's just like any other career fair, but I don't want to brag, but at the same time, you think about it, the individuals kind of have a leg up from their civilian counterparts when it comes to the experience. And what I love is more and more employers are beginning to see that and really appreciate that, okay, when I'm interviewing a veteran, I know that there's going to be certain standards that they already meet. Right. And then top that off with the technical advanced training, the hands-on experience, or if they've gotten out and gone on to another civilian career. I mean, I've been out of the military for several years, but I still have those core skills ingrained in me.
Sure.
And that's what employers are really looking for when they come to these events and when they're networking with these job seekers.
Jennifer Haddock is with Recruit Military. She is the event director, and as you can tell, she travels across the country. Let me ask you, it was so difficult with unemployment during the pandemic, and people were losing their jobs left and right. Others, you could argue, really didn't want to work because of government support, et cetera. But I know you guys follow the numbers from, say, the national unemployment rate. And then there is another category, as you well know, is, the veterans unemployment rate as well. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So one thing that I have loved to see is coming out post-pandemic, right? You are seeing those numbers start to drop. And right now, the unemployment rate is 3.6% nationwide, right?
I hate when that happens. I'll tell you what, Matt. We'll continue this dramatic pause. We just lost her line, so we will continue our conversation after Blake and the news. It's almost as if we planned that. So we'll get back with Jennifer Haddock, Recruit Military. I think, friends, it's the least that we can do. And it's, again, the job fair. If you just maybe were tuned in at the end, we're still going to take a break, Matt, and then we'll be back with Jennifer. Hopefully she can stay on with us one more segment. It is tomorrow at Mile High Stadium, 11 a.m. to 3 in the afternoon. When we come back, we'll get into, all right, I've piqued your interest. She's piqued your interest. What do you bring tomorrow? How do you dress, et cetera? Should you dress for a job interview tomorrow? So we'll have all the details on that as we continue our conversation. I have been a proud member of the Colorado Farm Bureau for many years, and many call it CFB, but it's an organization that's made up of farmers and ranchers and truly anyone who wants to promote and protect agriculture, as well as our great state's rural heritage. They've been around for 103 years doing just that. And as you know, and you've heard me preach, ag is such a critical part of the Colorado economy, our history, and heritage. That's why I'm a Farm Bureau member, and I hope you will join me and become a member yourself. Farm Bureau watches out for the interests of family farms and ranches, and even those of us consumers. They are obviously have a presence in D.C. and under the Golden Dome in downtown Denver. They work to do as best they can, keep prices low and agriculture strong. Join me in becoming a member of the Colorado Farm Bureau and help protect what is so vitally important, and when it comes to Colorado history and heritage as well. They help, as mentioned, protect our family farms and ranches now and into the future. You can become a member. It's as easy as visiting coloradofarmbureau.com. That's coloradofarmbureau.com.
News Talk 710. Update.
Temperatures in the upper 40s and lower 50s this afternoon. Weather and traffic is coming up. The Supreme Court leak has triggered protesters on the left as expected. The Boulder County Sheriff's Office reported a Boulder Catholic church was vandalized last night with anti-religious and other messages like abortion saves lives, spray painted on the buildings and other property. Sacred Heart of Mary is located on South Boulder Road, and the Sheriff's Office says that the graffiti is similar to another incident that happened last September. Former President Trump says Walt Disney is looking down and asking, "What has happened to my Magic Kingdom?" after the company embraced LGBTQ rights and claims that 60% of transgender kids regret it later in life. He told the Christian Broadcasting Network he'll make the decision to run for president again after the November midterms. The Federal Reserve announced an interest rate hike. The Fed announced it would raise rates by 0.5 percentage point and hinted it may get even more aggressive in fighting inflation. Wall Street at the closing bell today, the Dow gained 932 points to 3461. The S&P 500 grew by 124 points to 4,300. The NASDAQ rose by 401 points to 12,964. The Broncos will play the Jags October 30th in London. All right, Steffan, ready to roll once again in the first hour. He returns in a couple of minutes. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Heavy traffic this afternoon. Drive out of Aurora, westbound 70, already at 40 minutes from Petty Boulevard on over to I-25. Very heavy and slow, getting past a crash. Westbound I-70 is out near Quebec, Monaco, exit 278, and that is blocking the left lane. Now that's it for highway crashes. 270 starting to get crowded, that westbound direction from I-70 and up to Vasquez. I-25 building up into downtown, both sides of the highway. There's a wreck in the downtown drive, Spear and Wee-Wada. I'm Susan Phelan.
This report is sponsored by Audible.
Mostly cloudy skies, just in the 40s and near 50 today, with areas of rain showers and a few thunderstorms possible as well. Some of these showers and a few of these thunderstorms could go well into the night with lows in the upper 30s. A few morning showers Thursday, then becoming partly cloudy and warmer. Highs near 70, 40s Thursday night, warming to the mid to upper 70s Friday. Weather brought to you by Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Now with a 2% option. Pay less, keep more. ColoradoFlatFeeRealty.com. Meteorologist Don Day on 710 KNUS.
Whatever you love listening to, you'll find it on Audible. Best-selling audiobooks, exclusive originals, podcasts, and more. Sign up and start free at Audible.com.
Joe O'Dea, an outsider, not a career politician. Joe O'Dea, a conservative running for U.S. Senate. Joe was adopted and raised by a Denver police officer. He became a union carpenter and started a construction company as a young man. That construction company employs hundreds of Coloradans today. Now Joe O'Dea is running for U.S. Senate to be a voice for working people, to attack inflation, cut the waste, fund our military, police, and America's infrastructure. Joe O'Dea is endorsed by Colorado's largest organization of police officers. Listen to what Joe has to say.
You know why Washington is so disconnected? It's run by too many people who have never had to work a hard day in their life. Yeah. So when people say, "Why are you running, Joe?" I'm running to be a voice for the working people of this country. I am one of you, and I will fight for you.
Joe O'Dea, conservative, outsider, a voice for working Americans.
I'm Joe O'Dea, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Joe O'Dea for U.S. Senate.
People who suffer from long-term chronic joint pain spend so much of their time acting, putting up a carefree front. It's exhausting.
I was really tired of trying to act like I wasn't in pain because I was in pain all the time.
Rick Rawlings didn't want everyone else to know that he was coping with agonizing shoulder pain 24/7.
Yes, I had to put on a face to cover up my pain.
But then Rick found QC Kinetics, offering new lasting treatments for joint pain using natural biologics. Treatments designed to restore and repair joint tissue with no drugs, no surgery, no downtime. The results were amazing.
I am very glad. It changed my life doing the QC Kinetics. Today, my shoulders feel wonderful. The cranky Rick is gone. He's not grouchy anymore.
No more acting. Feel like yourself again with a call to QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 303-900-8986. That's 303-900-8986. QC Kinetics.
303-900-8986.
J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling is your source for junk hauling, decluttering, demolition, cleanouts, and e-waste recycling. Whether it's clearing out an entire home, one room, or commercial space, J-Dog provides the best service at very competitive prices. Trust J-Dog to haul it out without you having to lift a thing. They are veteran-owned, operated, and hiring. Visit them at veteran-junkbizco.com. That's veteran-junkbizco.com.
News Talk 710 KNUS. Listen live on Odyssey.
Veteran Job Fair and Recruit Military's event director, Jennifer Haddock, joins us again. And appreciate your time. The best way, and then I'm going to kind of ask again before we got cut off, I'm going to ask the question that I did last segment, but what's the best way right now to have people sign up?
Sure. So they're going to want to go to the Recruit Military website. So that's recruitmilitary.com. Click on I am a job seeker. From there, they're going to want to go to the events page, and right at the top, they'll see the Denver event. They'll want to go ahead and get registered. That's going to be step number one. It's really quick. Put in some basic information, upload a copy of their resume, and then because this event is entirely paper-free, it's a digital event. So they'll want to bring out a mobile device where they can network with the employers, share their digital profile electronically. So that's going to be the best way for them to get registered and get all the details on where they need to go and when they need to be there.
Awesome. One more time on the website.
Sure. So it's recruitmilitary.com. Click on I am a job seeker and then go to the events page, and the Denver event will be right on the top.
Perfect. Okay. So, we were talking about the unemployment rate, pandemic, et cetera, but there's a difference between, I mean, if you're unemployed, you're unemployed, but you do break it down like a national unemployment average, and then where, of that number, who are veterans. Talk about that a little bit.
Sure. So coming out of the pandemic, as you can imagine, the veteran unemployment rate was probably at an all-time high, I would say. But right now, the veteran unemployment rate is at an all-time low. It's sitting at right at 2.4% at a national level. Just to give you some perspective, the general unemployment rate is at 3.6%. Now, the only thing that I'm a little not disappointed, but I was surprised about was the Colorado veteran unemployment rate is right at 5.4%. So it's slightly higher than the national average, but I do want folks to know the national unemployment.
Well, that sucks. Dag nammit. I don't know if you can hear me, Jennifer, but we're having all kinds of phone problems. Can you still hear me?
I can still hear you.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you. It's probably operator error or something. I'm doing something wrong. Real quick, talk about the Colorado numbers again, because that is, I think it's okay to say that's unfortunate because we have such great people here and companies, and they certainly will hire veterans.
Absolutely. So it's actually higher than the national veteran unemployment rate. Colorado's sitting at 5.4%. So that's why these employers are coming out. They want to network with veterans. They want to hire veterans. There's over 12,000 jobs on the Recruit Military job board right now, just here in the local area of Denver. So let's get those veterans that are unemployed reemployed.
Amen. Thank you for your service, for your time, and I hope that tomorrow is a smashing success. And what I'm kind of excited about is maybe, just maybe, somebody heard this interview with you and will go ahead and take that first, second, and third steps. Should they wear a suit or women wear a dress? I don't know.
So what I tell everybody is dress to impress. right?
All right.
Come on out prepared to interview, right? It's not just a networking event. There's employers that are going to do interviews on site. Now, keep in mind, if you're a field service technician that works out in the field every day, you're coming in on your lunch break, please don't let not having a suit and tie or appropriate interview attire keep you from attending. These employers understand, and they know that's what they're looking for. They're looking for folks that are motivated, that want to find employment or better employment than what they're currently looking at. And if for whatever reason they're not able to register, maybe they don't have access to a computer or something right at the appropriate time, still come on in. My team will get them set up. We'll get them squared away, and they'll still be able to network with the employers.
You guys are awesome. We are always happy to help out. Again, recruitmilitary.com. The event director, Jennifer Haddock. And I'm going to do this. You're the first one I've said this to today. Jennifer, thank you. And may the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you as well.
Thank
Love
you.
it.
Love it. See you. We'll talk to you soon. Jennifer Haddock with Recruit Military. It's great.
The Force will be with you always.
Oh, yeah. What is your favorite Star Wars film? I was talking to a friend today. Well, they're good, but I don't know. Where do I start? You start with episode 4, which, spoiler alert, kind of ends like this.
You're all clear, kid. Now let's blow this thing and go home.
There goes the Death Star. We don't know how many lives were just lost. Well, most of them maybe were clones or drones. And here's the other question of the day. Forget the leak from yesterday. Who shot first, Han or Greedo?
I don't have it with me. Tell Jabba. Even I get bored sometimes. Do you think I had a choice? For my dead body. Yes, I bet you have.
I'll tell you who shot first. It wasn't Greedo.
Sorry about the mess.
There's a poll question right now at Tub Show. Who shot first, Han or Greedo? I'm telling you, there's only one right answer, and it was Han. 4 o'clock hour next.
Are you ready? Get ready. News Talk 710 KNUS presents the Colorado Republican Rumble. A day of debates featuring statewide Republican candidates for Secretary of State, Governor, U.S. Senate, Saturday, May 21st at the Grizzly Rose, starting at high noon. Featuring News Talk 710's own George Brockler helping moderate the event. Watch it in person or stream it live. Complete details at 710knus.com. The Colorado Republican Rumble is presented by the Republican Women of Weld in partnership with the Adams County Republican Women and News Talk 710. KNUS.
Hi, it's George Brockler. I love referring friends and listeners to Gay Ribble, the Ribble Group, Keller Williams Realty DTC. I've gotten to know her, and she is fantastic. That's why I strongly suggest that you call Gay Ribble when it's time to sell your home. Recently, Gay was telling me about a family who wanted to take advantage of this incredible seller's market, and it is incredible, before it changes. The challenge was they were building a new home, and they didn't want to make a double move. So Gay was able to let her clients sell and stay in their current home for the extra 10 months needed. That's amazing. The Ribble Group's Sell Your Home and Stay in Your Home program will let you stay in your home for up to 12 months. To learn more about the Sell and Stay guarantee, call the only one I trust, Gay Ribble and the Ribble Group at 833-301-SOLD. That's 833-301-SOLD, or visit Gay, spelled Gaye, hasthebuyers.com. That's gayhasthebuyers.com.
If the last couple of years have taught us one thing, it's to value the things we can control. And addressing hair loss is no exception. My friends at Advanced Hair Restoration can reverse years or even decades of hair loss with their simple one-day treatment. Your own natural hair begins to regrow the very next day, and your new hair is backed by the Advanced Hair Guarantee. It works for bald spots, receding hairlines, thinning hair, men and women. Younger, wiser, advanced hair can address many patterns of hair loss. Their advanced FUE treatment has changed tens of thousands of lives, people just like you. So set up your free consultation, 720-459-HAIR. Get special financing, 250 free hair grafts, plus $250 off. Value the things you can control and start regrowing your own natural hair today. 720-459-HAIR. Be sure to ask about the Advanced Hair Guarantee and view the before and after pictures right now at advancedhair.com.
I'm Amy Duncan from Alpine Planning Group. There are so many ways to invest anymore, websites and 800 numbers. Well, at Alpine Planning Group, all we do is personal wealth management. It's about trust, consistency, and communication to our clients to help them realize the results they need for retirement. To learn more or meet, call today 303-843-0918 or visit alpineplanninggroup.com. We're local, experienced, and prepared to plan with you. That's Alpine Planning Group.
News, traffic, weather, and the latest on Ukraine. News Talk 710, KNUS, Denver. The news now.
46 degrees and cloudy at 4 o'clock on a Wednesday on your drive home. Weather and traffic is coming up. The girlfriend of a man who pleaded guilty to being inside the U.S. Capitol building during the January 6th event was arrested Tuesday. Coloradan Jennifer Horvath faces federal charges of knowingly entering or remaining in a restricted building or grounds without lawful authority, among other charges. She was released on a personal recognizance bond with specific terms. One Trump supporter was killed by Capitol Police that day. Here's KNUS First Alert traffic.
Crash on the highway, already cleaned up. Westbound 70 out near Quebec, Monaco. Exit 278. All lanes have opened. Westbound 70, you're slow back to Pena Boulevard. That's at least a 15-minute delay right now. Starting to look a little better on the front end of that. You had a crash in the downtown drive, backing up Spirit Weewata. I'm Susan Thielen.
This report is sponsored by Audible. Whatever you love listening to, you'll find it on Audible. Best-selling audiobooks, exclusive originals, podcasts, and more. Sign up and start free at audible.com.
Mostly cloudy with some lingering areas of showers and isolated thunderstorms through late evening, and maybe a couple of showers going past the midnight hour and into the morning hours of Thursday. Lows will be in the upper 30s. Thursday, a morning sprinkler shower, then clearing. Highs near 70, warming to the mid to upper 70s for Friday and Saturday. Weather brought to you by Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Now with a 2% option, pay less, keep more. ColoradoFlatFeeRealty.com. Meteorologist Don Day on 710 KNUS.
Thanks, Don. 46 degrees right now. This report is sponsored by News Nation. Dan Abrams and Ashley Banfield are now back to back on News Nation. Get the news without the bias weeknights starting at 7 Mountain on America's fastest growing cable news network, News Nation. The White House is looking ahead to a possible Supreme Court ruling, of course, ending abortion rights in the U.S. Press Secretary Jen Psaki said tens of millions of women could lose what the left calls reproductive health care services as early as this summer. The leak of the Supreme Court draft opinion concerns conservatives. The Fed raised interest rates by a half a percentage point today on Wall Street at the closing bell. The Dow gained 932 points. The S&P 500 grew by 124 points, and the NASDAQ rose by 401 points to 12,964. The Avs over the Preds in Game 1 last night, 7-2. Game 2 tomorrow at Ball Arena, also known as Puck Arena. Back to Steffan now. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Portions of the following program have been pre-recorded. A long
you've been with us. Apologies for the phone issues with our last guest. It is May the 4th. Maybe an Ewok got into the system. May the 4th be with you. We'll have little Star Wars. I'm not like an uber ridiculous, like going to conventions. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I don't go to conventions for Star Wars and I don't dress up like, Luke Skywalker or Chewbacca, but I do love me some Star Wars.
The Force will be with you always.
Thank goodness, because we need something. Welcome. It is the day after the main day, if you will, that, everybody was reacting to the leak. I believe we'll have someone from the National Right to Life Foundation coming up at 5:30 this afternoon or evening. We'll talk about that. You may or may not have heard about just a little bit of unrest in certain places. Now, I'm sure the narrative for especially those whack job progressives is, come on. And I got to be fair. I've got to be fair. Many of your fellow conservatives did the same exact thing. Need an example? See, January 6th, 2021. Those weren't Trump supporters. Those were all Antifa. Well, this really is, because I have my feet on the ground and I tell you the truth, and we are common sense. You can't complain about, if the left said, say, last night, people in Los Angeles were, if they say plants from the right, I guess they can say that. Now, you and I both know the truth. But as we talked about off the top of the first hour, this is the party of unity. Can't we all just get along? Again, you would think that last night, the Supreme Court leak had something to do. We are no more gay. No more gay in the United States of America. Oh, you want to go to Florida? We'll have checkpoints, saliva samples, blood samples. We can really tell with this look in your eyes. Sadly, this is not banning abortion across the country like many of the not paying attention independents, many of the not paying attention Democrats. That's the message that the left wants to exude. They want that to be out there. That's why I think this is strategic. The president sucks. The economy sucks. Gas prices suck. Inflation/recession, all of it. This has been a disaster in the first year and change for Joe Biden. So what better way, as maybe in some of the left's minds, there possibly will be a red wave. We might lose control in the House, Senate, or both. What better way? Now you've got something to be fired up upon if you are a not paying attention independent, if you are a not paying attention Democrat. Oh, wait, they what? What? Oh, well, I'll certainly be voting for the Democrat near me. From last night in Los Angeles, yes, it was all well and good and all about unity. Now, this may seem like I'm piling on, but remember, there's a pretty good possibility that those angry youngsters giving police officers in Los Angeles a few things to worry about last night. They probably voted for, this guy.
This is not about freedom or personal choice.
Now, to our friends on the left, yes, I took him out of context. Or did I? 303-696-1971. If you got a busy signal yesterday, because we had jammed lines all show, you will be happy to know that as we usually start the new hour, phone lines are clear. One of the lines has your name on it. If you have not gotten off of your chest, your frustration with the way things are, maybe your elation to the leak, love to hear from you. Again, our number 303-696-1971. Welcome to those of you listening and watching on our YouTube channel. Thank you very much. 710 KNUS YouTube channel. And of course, you can text to the studio via the free to download app. Live streaming audio, welcome to you wherever you are listening live stream, accessible via the app or the website. And of course, commercial break free podcasts are available on the app and the website, 710knus.com/Steffan. Just another reminder that a little less than 24 hours ago, or more than 24 hours ago, about 25 hours ago, to be honest, Lauren Boebert, she talked about the leak, etc. She was with us yesterday in the 5 o'clock hour. If by chance you missed it or you want to hear it again, that is available as well via the app or the podcast or the website at the podcasts. Again, the Lauren Boebert, we had about 20 minutes with her yesterday. This is only, to me, going to get worse. I said this last hour. We had a terrific call from, I believe her name was Trisha. Terrific call. And one of the things that some of her comments led me to say, I will repeat now, and that is you look at the protesters that were down outside of the Colorado state capitol yesterday afternoon, I'm sure well into the night. I can't tell you, and I am kind of a news geek, I get alerts and tons of emails, probably like you, from various news outlets around, and I not necessarily, first of all, I'm not paying for them. I don't necessarily agree with how they cover things, but alert after alert, story after story, feature after feature over the past day or so, just about the people that came out to the Colorado Capitol yesterday. Here is to me, a legitimate question. What the hell are they out there for? No, seriously. Are they down there at the Colorado Capitol protesting for their brethren and sisters in, say, states like Oklahoma, Texas, Florida? Or as the mainstream media, including, but not limited to, the Associated Press, among others. What's the lead focus that they're doing? It's not that currently 24 states like Colorado, hey, some of those states, you can go full term. Oh, you don't want your baby at the end? No problem. Come to Colorado. What the hell were these people protesting yesterday? They're just fine here in Colorado. Go ahead and murder that baby. Oh, you went through first trimester, second trimester, you're into your third, and you just don't think you're really into it. Make your appointment. You can in Colorado. I don't make fun of him because he has COVID, but I just glanced and might as well mention it to you just in case you didn't see it. Senator Michael Bennet tweeted out earlier today, he is recovering from COVID. He was not with the banjo playing senator from Colorado. Hickenlooper was out there on the steps of the state capitol as I would assume one of his freaking political heroes, Chucky baby. Chuck Schumer was, well, he was out there. Chuck Schumer was, giving you the, well, what was it? Just the fear. Oh my God. The fear of what is going to happen in this country. Remember?
This is a dark and disturbing day for America.
Oh, yeah. Talk like that. So Hickenlooper's there, but Bennett is back here in Colorado because despite being vaxxed, jabbed, shot, not once but twice, and getting the booster twice, he still came down with COVID. We do wish him the best, and I don't make fun of... Oh, wow. This just in. Stand by. Being told that was from last year on this date. I was going to say that was a quick recovery. I'm looking at a picture on Twitter of Bennett sitting around with people in Pueblo. Well, apparently that didn't happen. But Senator Bennett, just like they all did yesterday, takes to social media. I'm going to tell you how horrible this is for everyone. Like this tweet from 2 hours ago. Quote, earlier this year, Colorado codified the right to choose in our state law because every person deserves the freedom to make their own healthcare decisions. It's time for Washington to follow Colorado's lead. Well, he wasn't too sick to tweet today unless he told a staffer to do so. But what seriously, here in Colorado, what would you say they were protesting? Whew, we're okay here. You're not okay there. So I'm going to take, and what did the mainstream media do? What did Colorado local media do? Back to the alerts, the stories that filled my inbox and probably continue to do so. Interviews with these concerned Coloradans, pictures of them walking up and down and gathering in a gay little bunch. Probably shouldn't say gay, but you know how I meant in that context. We can't believe this. Don't worry, Trixie. Don't worry, Johnny. By the way, Johnny, you can't get pregnant. You cannot get pregnant. Don't worry, Johnny or Trixie. Everything is going to the plan of your friends. You make it up as well. Everything in this state is going the way the Democrats in this state would want it, including killing a baby that could be perfectly fine if he or she could only get out of the mother alive. It is just absolutely disgusting. Again, our number 303-696-1971. 303-696-1971. We are crossing our fingers that some of the technical difficulties that we're going through, I hope you can hear me okay. Online, live streaming via the app or the website. Something's going on with our phones, I think, but by God, try. 303-696-1971, and we will get through this together. Despite the president of the United States, the unifier in chief, right? You know, saying stuff like this.
Because this MAGA crowd is really the most extreme political organization that's existed in American history.
Wait a minute. You know, the president with this.
Because this MAGA crowd is really the most extreme political organization that's existed in American history.
Holy cow. It was like a light bulb went off in my head or above my head. Joe Biden there is channeling Comrade Marcano from the Aurora City Council.
So I do believe in radical candor. And I'm sorry, I think you might need to do some soul searching because I do believe, honest to God, that the Republican Party is a sadistic death cult. It is the most dangerous organization that has ever existed.
Not last night in LA. Huh. How do you justify? Look, I've told you, and I've made enemies. I've gotten hate mail, email, texts, phone calls, all kinds of stuff. When I have said, if what happened on January 6th, if that to you is a true conservative. Well, they ain't my conservatives. There's no excuse for that, what happened on January 6th. I don't need to open up that can of worms. I've made myself very clear. Trust me, you have as well. But would anybody like a Biden? Like, where's the president? Of course, we know this wouldn't happen, but where's the president, say, with the incident last night in Los Angeles? Just that incident. How about, look, folks, I'm going to shoot straight from the shoulder. Folks. And then he could even, mix in something like,
Get vaccinated.
yeah, I mean, look, folks, I know we're all upset, but don't take it out. Don't have the leak be your reason to possibly assault a police officer. They could say that. They didn't. And they won't. But I wonder how a Joe Biden or a Comrade Marcano, the idiot in Aurora, do you justify things like in Los Angeles? That is hypocritical. And that is all they are. We will take a time out for news. Blake standing by. And then your phone calls. Talk about the leak with me. We'll read some of the texts that are coming in as well. And I don't know, maybe I'm not trying to stoke the fire here, but what do you think?
Because this MAGA crowd is really the most extreme political organization that's existed in American history.
Coming up later in the hour, there is a terrific story, and I may wax a little bit nostalgic in our final segment of the hour. Last night, a New York Yankee, hashtag We Are Not a Sports Show, a guy named Aaron Judge, who is, I think if you had a computer program and you could design like a perfect specimen of a baseball player, if you want to have somebody on, say, your clone team, it might be him. He hit a monster home run at the Rogers Center last night in Toronto. I don't care because we're not a sports show. I'm not going to tell you that it was, on a 3-2 slider that hung over the plate. It's what happened to the home run ball. And to me, while I love the NFL, never gave it up. I couldn't. I'm addicted. To me, the story that we'll tell you in our third segment, so coming up probably in about 30 minutes or so, is the reason why no matter what happens in this country with the leak, no matter how many on the left get in front of cops and do what they do, no matter what they do in Minneapolis or Portland or Seattle or Denver, I look to the game of baseball and why it is the greatest sport on earth. And we'll have that. It is a great story. We'll talk about that. It is May the 4th, and it is that time of year in Colorado where, well, think about this. You're going to be using your air conditioning unit more than likely within the next month, 2 months, certainly 3 months. And it's that time of year where your AC is going to suck you dry. It's kind of like the vampire on your property. It'll use a ton of energy. Yes, you got to pay for it. Don't get ripped off. Get your AC unit checked out by our trusted friends and team at 888 Heating and Air. They've got the $88 performance check. They'll ensure that your system is in excellent working order. And of course, they will help you to optimize energy use. Older units can be the biggest culprits. They can just suck you dry. Like I said, 888 Heating right now has a limited offer of $2,088 off new AC and furnace installations. Maybe you need a new unit after what you went through last winter or what you've gone through in the spring. And you can start saving money right away on energy costs. 888 only installs American Standard units, the best industry at the best price for you. They go the distance. I'm a customer, totally satisfied, and I know you will be as well. 888heating.com for the easiest way to schedule. Their team is professional. You're going to get texts ahead of time confirming they're on their way. You'll even get a picture sent to you of the technician that's coming to your home. Be sure to tell them Steffan sent you. Don't let your AC win. Just let that AC, name your AC, by the way. Freddy Freezer, I don't know, but don't get sucked dry, and be sure to get an energy efficient one if you don't have one. Tell them Steffan sent you again to 888heating.com. And on this, May the 4th be with you. To the break.
You are beaten. It is useless to resist. Don't let yourself be destroyed as Obi-Wan did. There is no escape. Don't make me destroy you. Luke, you do not yet realize your importance. You have only begun to discover your power. Join me, and I will complete your training.
Highways starting to get busier out here. Drive out of Aurora, pretty busy. Had a crash westbound 70. It was out near Quebec, Monaco. Exit 278, the wreck is gone. Slow back to Penny Boulevard. The I-25 drive may have a crash now northbound near Alameda. Slow from University into downtown. I'm Susan Thielen.
This report is sponsored by Audible. Whatever you love listening to, you'll find it on Audible. Best-selling audiobooks, exclusive originals, podcasts, and more. Sign up and start free at audible.com.
Hugh Hewitt doesn't believe Russia has calculated its loss.
Hackers, they have totally shut down Russian banks. They've captured data. They've shut down Russian utilities. They're going to post that data pretty soon. Boy, have they done a number on Putin. That country is reeling so far backwards. Well, I don't know if he has a cost-benefit analysis. It's impossible to say if he has a cost-benefit analysis.
The Hugh Hewitt Show, weeknights at 10 on News Talk 710, KNUS.
You know, it's been said, the greatest single virtue of a strong legislature is not what it can do, but what it can prevent. So listen carefully, Colorado. Our legislators are being pushed hard by special interests to do the unthinkable. Pass House Bill 1233, giving eye surgery privilege to optometrists who are not medical doctors or trained surgeons, but may then be able to perform eye surgery after simply taking a 32-hour training session. But Colorado's registered voters want to prevent this dangerous change. 87% think only ophthalmologists who have at least 8 years of medical and surgical training should do eye surgery. But 96% have not heard anything about this bill from their legislators. So please, don't wait any longer. Tell your legislators only surgeons should perform eye surgery.
Paid for by Colorado Society of Eye Physicians and Surgeons.
Hi, this is Joyce.
And Brent.
Your team from Roll 'em Out Shelves. We turn your kitchen clutter into more practical and usable space, bringing order, ease, and peace to your favorite spaces with our unique solutions. Our custom rollout shelves transform space and accessibility. It is truly one of the most affordable and functional home improvements you can make. Our manufacturing process guarantees quality shelves and exceptional customer satisfaction made right here in Colorado.
Mom, can you believe we've almost had 20 years of experience building 100% satisfaction guaranteed shelving units for kitchens, bathrooms, garages, and more?
Yes, Brent, I believe it. Over and over, our solutions leave behind satisfied customers. We love seeing kitchens tidied up and transformed. Call us at 303-475-9601 to schedule your free estimate, or visit rollemoutshelves.com to view our gallery of projects. You will get so many great ideas for your own kitchen, bathroom, or any other cabinet space in your home. Contact us today. You'll be so glad you did.
Hi, it's Peter Boyles. Come and celebrate Mother's Day at the Butchery in Arvada on Sunday, May the 8th from 2 p.m. till 9 p.m. Treat Mom. Incredible beef menus of bacon-wrapped filet mignon, garlic butter mushrooms, or Black River blue cheese encrusted fillets, and of course, the Butchery's succulent prime rib. If Mom loves fresh seafood, get the cold water lobster tails, juicy jumbo sea scallops, or the savory bourbon barrel salmon. Make your Mother's Day reservation today by going to the Butchery Arvada.com. It's the Butchery Arvada.com.
Hi, it's Steffan Tubbs. Make a plan and join us for the American Veteran Show. Every Sunday, we highlight incredible stories from around the country and here in Colorado. It is an honor to profile veterans, active duty, and military-related charities every single week. The American Veterans Show, part history lesson, always done with appreciation. Get a dose of patriotism. We hope you'll join us.
The American Veterans Show with Steffan Tubbs, Sundays at noon on News Talk 710 KNUS. News Talk 710 KNUS. Listen live on Odyssey.
Of getting texts is always, but when they're timely, we had just played just a few minutes ago the president making this little unifying statement.
Because this MAGA crowd is really the most extreme political organization that's existed in American history.
So if you are just clicking on, I said, well, gosh, that sounds a lot like he's channeling Comrade Marcano from Aurora.
So I do believe in radical candor. And I'm sorry, I think you might need to do some soul searching, because I do believe, honest to God, that the Republican Party is a sadistic death cult. It is the most dangerous organization that has ever existed.
Wow. Big words. Mr. and Mrs. Texter, regarding your soundbite of Barden. Maybe that's what we call him. Barden is a combo. Barden is the love child of Joe Biden and Juan Marcano. Anyhow, the text says, regarding your soundbite of Biden Marcano, I call bullcrap.
I call bullcrap.
I like that. Thank you, Mr. or Mrs. Texter. We are a full service show. Though I have done this twice, I will do it again for Mr. or Mrs. Texter. Yesterday, there was a leak. I'm being a smart ass. Yesterday, there's a leak. Possibly Roe versus Wade, 1973, may be overturned. Justice Alito writes a 94-page opinion. It's a 5-4 deal. And people were not happy, like in Los Angeles last night. Okay, this is Los Angeles. A group of rowdy idiots, degenerates. They don't respect the law. They're getting in the cops' faces. Los Angeles police on scene. I believe, if my geography, if I remember LA, this may be like, it's either downtown or it was in an area called Brentwood, which is near UCLA. And it's where the a lot of the federal buildings are in the city of Los Angeles. So last night, regardless of where it was, downtown or Brentwood, you had people, they're not happy with the leak. They are not happy. And so they turned out and it kind of got ugly. I don't know any detail as to if anyone was arrested. I do know this, that at least one LAPD officer did suffer some minor injuries. Why? Because they do not respect the law. They do not respect, probably, I think I'm not going out too far on a limb to say they probably don't really respect authority all that much. Just imagine these idiots not too many years removed from school, like high school, for example. Mrs. Krabappel comes up, in front of the class. Your homework tonight is, can you just see these defiant idiots just doing something? Do your assignment? Screw it. I'm going to become a full-time protester. Absolutely, positively a joke. Let's get to some of the texts that have been coming in. This from Mr. and Mrs. Texter. MAGA crowd, worst political group in history, worse than the KKK, the Weathermen Underground, the SLA. Oh, good poll. The Symbionese Liberation Army. That is a poll from the past. Good job. The communists, Antifa, just to name a few. Really? Totally. Let's see. Like Dennis Miller says, this text reads, Democrats want cradle to grave entitlements. The hard part is getting to the cradle. Amen. Good Lord. Here's one, and I'll set this up, but I'll read the text first. It'll make sense. Boycotting Amazon probably won't work, but how's about we start a you don't have to be pregnant to get an Amazon abortion vacation business? Ouch. What does that have to, what is that in reference to? Well, we mentioned it in our first hour. Amazon reportedly told staff earlier this week that the company, don't worry, company employees, we're Amazon, that the company would pay up to $4,000 in travel expenses for employees who need non-life-threatening medical treatments, including abortions. Let that sink in. I'm sure it has. Other big companies in the country, at least according to this article, they include Citigroup, pretty good sized financial group, Yelp, Uber, and Lyft. And most of the companies have this mantra, quote, to help employees bypass Republican-led efforts in several states to effectively ban abortion, close quote. As I indicated yesterday and have mentioned, I think it's worth, if you don't believe me, which I hope you do, just take a look if you haven't already and just Google leak abortion Supreme Court and look at all of the news articles. And I would say 95% of them, they take the angle of not the 24 states that really would not be impacted whatsoever in this country, like Colorado, because of what state legislators have voted on and what these 24 states at minimum, what their governors have signed into law already. We are a safe haven for abortions up until the last minute, and I don't want the baby, kill it. But back to if you Googled what you did and the theme of these news stories, they're not talking about and highlighting states like Colorado. No, they're highlighting, because it's more dramatic this way, they're highlighting the fact that if Roe v. Wade is overturned, 26 states are likely to ban abortion. If you don't believe me, seriously do it. Because the narrative that they want to get out, many of these news outlets, I don't need to tell you this, if they work for corporate media giants, I bet you they gave more money to the Joe Biden campaign than they did to the Donald Trump campaign. I bet you the journalists, fair and balanced, down the middle, not taking sides, we're just presenting facts. They could say, well, don't blame me. I mean, I didn't write the headline. That's a standard peeking behind the media curtain. Many reporters will tell you that, especially, obviously, print, internet reporters. Oh, you didn't like the headline? Well, sorry, I didn't write it. What they have proven over and over for the past day plus now is they focus on the 26 states that will not allow what more than likely 99% of them support. Well, it's tough being a parent these days, the journalist may say to his or herself. Why shouldn't somebody at the last minute be able to change their mind about bringing a human being into the world? Oh, 8 months? Third trimester? Oh, well, I mean, if you don't want it, you don't want it. I hope you see through all of the bullshit because it's out there. It's thick. This is even, I'll double down on what I said yesterday. Show me how this is not strategic. They are loving it. Those, if there are like 5 people that control the world, you know what I'm saying? They're on a little island and here's what we're going to do next. We'll take a break for news coming up. I don't know. Either I am completely boring you today or our phone lines aren't working. I don't know what it is. Seriously. The last guest we had crapped out 2 or 3 times. I'm getting a lot of texts to the wall of love. You know what, Matt? I think this is all some kind of left-wing conspiracy.
I call bullcrap.
If you just want to try to test the phone lines, I ain't going to beg you to call, but I have no idea if they're working. I sure as hell hope you can hear my voice right now. When we come back, I want to get to you this really cool feel-good story. It is most certainly a visual story, but I will do my best. I'll try to earn my paycheck for the hour. I will try to describe what happens, and I think it just proves to me again and again how great the game of baseball is. If you have car trouble, do you know where you're going to go? If you have car trouble and you want to, say, have somebody service it and get it done on time and do a great job at a fair price. If you want to deal with professionals that exist solely to do just that, fix it, make you happy, pay the bill, you're out of there. Get with my friends at The Garage. They have superior BMW service at The Garage, but just because they're BMW experts doesn't mean they can't work on your car, no matter the make or model, because they have decided, let's service everything. Why just do BMWs? But they do them great. The Garage, all your service needs, you'll love them. And stop in if you do drive a Beamer, the KNUS $99 full synthetic BMW oil change special. It's a terrific value. It does exclude diesels and M cars. They operate unlike a dealer. And no offense to dealers, but you pay dealer prices. Maybe, hey, would you like to get into a new car today? The team at The Garage, they've got the tools, talent, training to take care of all your vehicle's service needs. Their customer treatment, I know because I've gone through it. It's second to none. Drive in for the KNUS $99 full synthetic BMW oil change special. 2 locations to serve you in the metro area. They're just off of Santa Fe and Union, in Englewood, or in Parker on Dransfeld, just south of Lincoln. Online, bmwrepairexperts.com. That's bmwrepairexperts.com, and tell them Steffan sent you.
Now, news, traffic, weather, and the latest on Ukraine.
Rain this morning, and we can expect some more tonight. Weather is coming up along with traffic. Intuit Incorporated, the company that owns TurboTax, will pay more than $2.5 million to tens of thousands of Colorado residents who were deceived by the company. State Attorney General Phil Weiser said an investigation found that the company deceived low-income customers and military members into paying for tax services that should have been free. The Fed raised interest rates by a 0.5 percentage point today. But on Wall Street today at the closing bell, the Dow gained 932 points to 3461. The S&P 500 grew by 124 points to 4,300, and the Nasdaq rose by 401 points to 12,964. Reports say Donald Trump Jr. met with the House committee investigating the January 6th events at the Capitol. Trump Jr. reportedly did not assert his Fifth Amendment rights during the meeting, which lasted a little more than 3 hours. The Hill describes the meeting as cordial and uneventful. An Arkansas high school senior is dead after she was accidentally shot during a demonstration on gun safety. 18-year-old Ahava Ort was killed at a home on Monday when a family member was reportedly showing her how to safely handle a firearm. According to the Arkansas Times, 39-year-old Deborah Pitts was arrested at the scene in connection with the incident, although it's unclear if charges have been filed. Game 1 of the NHL playoffs last night, and the Avalanche over the Predators, no problem, 7-2 the final. Game 2 tomorrow at Ball Arena, also known these days as Puck Arena. Back to Steffan in a few minutes. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Always look pretty good for us this afternoon. Definitely getting heavier here. A pretty typical drive. There's no big problems. I-25 loading up downtown. I-70 getting heavier. The 270 drive as well as 225. One trouble spot out west. Car fire westbound 70 at Mount Vernon Canyon. I'm Susan Phelan.
This report is sponsored by Audible. Whatever you love listening to, you'll find it on Audible. Best-selling audiobooks, exclusive originals, podcasts, and more. Sign up and start free at audible.com.
Mostly cloudy with some lingering areas of showers and isolated thunderstorms through late evening, and maybe a couple of showers going past the midnight hour and into the morning hours of Thursday. Lows will be in the upper 30s. Thursday, a morning sprinkler shower, then clearing. Highs near 70, warming to the mid to upper 70s for Friday and Saturday. Weather brought to you by Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Now with a 2% option, pay less, keep more. ColoradoFlatFeeRealty.com. Meteorologist Don Day on 710 KNUS.
Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Colorado Flat Fee Realty.
In today's active real estate market, don't pay too much to sell your house. Colorado Flat Fee Realty is now offering a 2% option. If you were selling a $500,000 house, the agent typically charges you 6%. That's $30,000 for just a few days of work. Colorado Flat Fee Realty has a much better way. On that same $500,000 sale, you would save thousands with Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Now with a 2% option. Why would you list your house with anyone else? Pay less, keep more. Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Call 303-300-9660 to find out more. 303-300-9660 or visit ColoradoFlatFeeRealty.com. Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Now with a 2% option. Pay less, keep more. ColoradoFlatFeeRealty.com.
Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Pay less, keep more, save thousands.
UFCW Local 7 President Kim Cordova is attacking her own union members who worked during a strike, issuing fines totaling thousands of dollars, even insisting members pay Local 7 any wages they earned, making it harder for her members to keep food on the table, all while Cordova made over $200,000 and Local 7 has $14 million in the bank. Massive fines and vindictive attacks. Kim Cordova is hurting union members. Paid for by the Center for Individual Freedom.
Perfect air with a personal touch. Only Pastor Camp Heating and AC Inc. can give you authentic Lennox quality and service. They're the people you know and trust right here in our community. And for a limited time, they're offering up to $1,000 in rebates or make no payments for 6 months when you finance a new Lennox system for as little as $132 a month. To get quality Lennox equipment with trusted service provided by Pastor Camp Heating and AC Inc. Call 303-777-1234 today or visit them online at pastorcamp.com. Conditions apply. See dealer for details.
Hi, I'm Gabe Walker from Alpine Planning Group. Wealth accumulation is never simple, but it's the distribution phase where we believe clients absolutely need a partner to navigate market cycles, assist with changes, and ensure retirement portfolios will last. At Alpine Planning Group, we specialize in wealth management. We're local, we're personal, and we customize every plan. If you'd like to meet or learn more, give us a call at 303-843-0918. Have a plan, have a partner, call Alpine Planning Group today.
News Talk 710 KNUS. Listen live on Odyssey.
Well, our guest coming up just after the news at 5:05, a professor at the University of Colorado, Colorado Springs, or UCCS, thinks he has a pretty good idea as to how the leak happened Great job, Matt, getting Professor Joshua done. He will join us coming up in a little more than 20 minutes or so, or a little less. I can't do math. A little less than 20 minutes. And then at the bottom of next hour, we will talk with Olivia Gans Turner, an outreach project that she directs, part of the National Right to Life Committee. Whether we like it or not, unless you just want to focus on other things, we focus on what people are talking about and oftentimes what nobody's talking about. But with this, we will have two great guests coming up. We'll take a phone call, and then I want to get to you this amazing, it's so simple. In all fairness to wanting to make this story, it's a very, very simple premise. Wow. Somebody was actually nice to a stranger. We'll have that story. Dateline Rogers Center, Toronto, Canada. And that comes up before we say goodbye in this segment and head toward 5. Barbara joins us from Aurora. Welcome and good afternoon to you.
Hi, Steffan.
Hi there.
Just a quick comment. When I think of the horror of abortion, one party that's part of it that isn't talked about very often is the doctors who perform abortions. And I always wonder what happened to their pledge to do no evil or do no harm.
Yeah, kind of, as you're kind of alluding to, the Hippocratic Oath.
Exactly. Do no harm.
Barbara, I mean, I don't even know what to say. To me, you make a hell of a lot of sense. Especially here in a state like Colorado, where these people that are so for it, the governor signs this bill. It's just as if it's like, don't you people care? Don't you care? Very sad.
I would love that an abortion be shown on the floor of the Colorado House, the Colorado Senate. I mean, not a live one, a film.
Yeah.
Because I don't think half of these people have a clue what really happens.
I think you're absolutely right. And thank you for that. I think Barbara's spot on. Again, I told you, and I don't want to get into it again, I have been pro-choice my entire life. I believe that a woman should have a right to choose. However, only to a certain point. Somebody texted in, I think last hour, every state in this country is full of police departments, sheriff's offices, fire departments. Now, look, I'm not saying leave your kid at the local firehouse, but I'll tell you what, leave your kid at the local firehouse. Have this baby because the baby should live. Wow. No more phone calls this hour because I want to take you to Toronto and what happened, and that comes up in just one moment. Couldn't do programs without our sponsors, as I always say. How about drywall finishing? Maybe Johnny punched a hole in the wall with a baseball bat accidentally, and that hole's been there for a long time. Who's going to fix it? You don't want to do it? We'll just do it some other day. Now you've got a team of drywall experts. They're Mike and his team, family owned and operated. I know because I had lunch with them, and you got Kelly answering the phones and booking the appointments. She's kind of the boss. Mike and his brother, drywall finishing. They do remodels. You don't want that going south. You want to hire an expert drywaller. Yeah, you can probably find a handyman or handy woman, but you don't want these things to go south. You want a company that focuses on cleanliness, and they get the job done right and complete with a 6-month guarantee on their work. Hire Drywall Finishing. They have decades of experience and a ton of satisfied customers up and down the Front Range. And even if you're, say, a do-it-yourselfer, we'll let them come in, do the drywall. You do everything else, and you can take all the credit. Give them the time. They will earn your business. 123drywall.com. That's 123drywall.com. You can call Kelly to get scheduled for that free estimate at 303-988-1709, 303-988-1709. They're local and family owned. You're helping support Colorado small business. Tell them Steffan sent you. It's 123drywall.com. All right. I'm a huge baseball fan. I've got my Padre hat on right now. And if you're watching on YouTube, you know that. Somebody said last week, burn the Padre hat. No, I will not. I love the game of baseball. I've attended hundreds of games, probably like you. I have one foul ball and a triple play ball Todd Helton tossed into the stands that I just happened to get many, many moons ago. But last night, when the Yankees come to town anywhere, they get a lot of their fan base that may not necessarily live in New York. Well, there's a kid in like way far, 450 plus feet away from home plate, and a guy named Aaron Judge steps up to the plate and hits a monster.
But Judge was on it.
Not only a Yankee fan wearing a Judge t-shirt.
Yeah, and the home run ball landed near the kid. The kid's name, Derek. Yes, after Derek Jeter. The home run ball lands in the hands of a Blue Jays fan. And I mean instantaneously. The kid is, moving that direction because here comes a home run ball. The kid is a Yankees fan. And what does that Blue Jays fan do? In an instant, has the home run ball, and he turns and he gives it to the kid. And the kid absolutely loses it.
Now, we're going to show you something that if you have allergies or if there's dust in the house, this might affect you a little bit. On Aaron Judge's home run, proof positive that there are good things and good people in this world. Watch this. It's caught by a Blue Jay fan, and he gives it to an Aaron Judge fan. Awesome.
I haven't seen that kind of emotion since Mariano Rivera grabbed Andy Pettitte on the mound in his last game.
I've got some pollen in my eyes right now.
Yes. I'm not crying, you're crying. It's so cool because there are news stories out there right now. If you have a chance, be sure to watch the video.
Log on to 710knus.com and click on the Peter Boyles Book Club banner to watch this week's video podcast. An amazing book, an incredibly sad book. The book is entitled Sacrifice, A Gold Star Widow's Fight for the Truth. You join the book club, you can see all of my video interviews, get an early bird invitation to attend live events, best-selling authors, and register to win copies of our featured titles every month. Remember, it's free to sign up. 710knus.com and click on the book club banner today.
Hi, it's Peter Boyles. Don't go through another summer with that awful joint pain. Call QC Kinetics now. Here's the deal. The pain in your back, your knees, your shoulders, it can be now treated with the latest in precision medicine using natural biologics, growth factors that can restore and repair damaged tissue. Really exciting stuff. It's right here. QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, giving you access right here, this modern day joint pain solutions. You can get lasting joint pain relief, no drugs, no steroids, no downtime, and no surgery. You heard Emmett Smith raving about QC Kinetics. You've heard or seen other high-profile people talking about it. Regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics can help you get your life back again. Take action now. A free consultation, powerful, effective joint pain treatment, natural biologics are right here. So call QC Kinetics now, 303-900-8986. That's 303-900-8986. 800-8986.
I should have had Done Right do it. Don't be that person that says this after ordering your remodeling project, right, Dad?
You've got that right, Todd. Hi, folks. Dan Cicchini, owner of Done Right Kitchens and Baths, Windows and Doors. Simply put, we make people happy. Ever since the 80s, we've proven ourselves by being picky. Tell the folks, Todd.
Well, there's only one way we'll resurface cabinets. 1/4 inch, glued and nailed. Replacement kitchens, only custom-built cabinets by our own people for a fabulous look. Bathrooms, you can count on the tried-and-true Done Right bathroom renovation system. And windows and entry doors? Dad, how about your 2 cents worth?
Well, it starts with a quality window or door, yes, but I'm here to tell you that preparation, installation, and finish are exactly why they'll be able to join those that say, Done Right, did right by me. So folks, whether it's kitchens, baths, counters, or floors, or even replacement windows and doors, as always, you have our word. We'll treat you right at Done Right. 303-722-2295, 800-362-8370, or drhi.com.
Hello, Colorado. It's mowing season. If you live in, near, or around Castle Rock, there's a place for you to get your mowers, trimmers, and other power equipment serviced and running great. Small Engine Masters in Castle Rock can make your equipment run better than it did when it was new. They can work on just about every kind of power equipment out there. So protect your investment. Small Engine Masters will sharpen your mower blade for free. Limit 1 set per customer. So come on down and see them today at 1577 Park Street, or call them at 720-301-8141, or go to smallenginemasters.com.
News, traffic, weather, and the latest on Ukraine. News Talk 710, KNUS, Denver. The news now.
49 degrees and cloudy outside on Wednesday on your drive home. Traffic and weather ahead. 26-year-old Jorge Alexander Che Kiab from Aurora, who gave fentanyl to a 16-year-old girl during a party at his apartment, then failed to help the girl after she overdosed and died, is guilty of manslaughter, among other criminal charges. The jury also returned verdicts on 2 counts of distribution of a controlled substance to a minor and sexual assault of a child. Here's KNUS First Alert traffic.
Highways look pretty good for us this afternoon. Definitely getting heavier here. A pretty typical drive. There's no big problems. I-25 loading up downtown. I-70 getting heavier. That 270 drive as well as 225. One trouble spot out west. Car fire westbound 70 at Mount Vernon Canyon. I'm Susan Phelan.
This report is sponsored by Audible. Whatever you love listening to, you'll find it on Audible. Best-selling audiobooks, exclusive originals, podcasts, and more. Sign up and start free at audible.com.
Mostly cloudy with some lingering areas of showers and isolated thunderstorms through late evening, and maybe a couple of showers going past the midnight hour and into the morning hours of Thursday. Lows will be in the upper 30s. Thursday, a morning sprinkler shower, then clearing. Highs near 70, warming to the mid to upper 70s for Friday and Saturday. Weather brought to you by Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Now with a 2% option. Pay less, keep more. ColoradoFlatFeeRealty.com. Meteorologist Don Day on 710 KNUS.
Thanks, Don. It's 49 degrees right now. This report is sponsored by Allstate, looking to save money with DriveWise. From Allstate, the safer you drive, the more you can save. At Allstate, better protection costs a whole lot less. Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today. Press Secretary Jen Psaki said President Biden supports the Federal Reserve to tame inflation. The Fed raised interest rates by 0.5 percentage point, the biggest hike in 22 years. Wall Street at the closing bell, the Dow gained 932 points to 3461. The S&P grew by 124 points to 4,300. The NASDAQ rose by 401 points to 12,964. The Avalanche over the Predators. Game 1, NHL playoffs last night, 7-2. Game 2 tomorrow at Ball Arena. Broncos will play the Jags October 30th in London, so that'll be interesting to watch. Colorado natives Andrew Wingert and Chad Muma, who play for the Jags. Colorado natives will be happy about that. Back to Steffan.
2 great hours to go. And if you're just clicking on or you've been with us since 3, thank you very much. I know you got a lot of radio options and listening choices, and we are greatly appreciative of you. Welcome to those of you listening live stream anywhere around the world via the app or the website, 710knus.com/Steffan. And of course, if you miss an interview like 24 hours ago, we interviewed Congresswoman Lauren Boebert. If you missed that or want to hear it again, every single minute of the program with commercial break free, I might add, at the website or the app. So make sure to kind of put that in the back of your mind. We will talk about the leak with a local professor, Colorado professor from UCCS in Colorado Springs. Where did this leak come from? We'll talk with political science professor coming up momentarily. If you are just tuning in, maybe, after yesterday, you'd had it, you don't want to know about the reaction. Well, I'm here to tell you that last night, the party of unity and let me give you a hug, there was just a few issues kind of around the country. This Dateline Los Angeles. Freedom of speech. Today's freedom of speech. If you'd like to assault a police officer, at least verbally, go ahead. So that was Los Angeles. All was fine. At least one officer was hurt. How about at the Hollywood Bowl? You can certainly say you can't make this up, or unless you think it was all staged, comedian Dave Chappelle, who has tried to be canceled for seemingly forever. Remember what happened to him and Netflix, but Netflix is like, oh no, we don't want to cancel Dave Chappelle because he makes us a lot of money. Last night at the Hollywood Bowl, some joker comes up on stage and tackles Dave Chappelle, who ain't a small guy.
Some noise for hip hop history.
Now, when they went, oh, that's because apparently the guy that jumped up on stage, he had the kicked out of him, as should be the case. Chappelle would, I didn't see the whole thing, but I imagine it was comedic genius, because what does he say? He says, holy shit, was that Will Smith? And lo and behold, who just so happened to be in the audience? Yes, it kind of does sound staged, but Chris Rock was in the audience. And then there's this from the president.
Because this MAGA crowd is really the most extreme political organization that's existed in American history.
It is all unity after, friends, the leak. Happy to welcome on to the program political science professor Joshua Dunn. He is with the Department of Political Science at the University of Colorado, Colorado Springs. Joshua, thank you so much for the time. I appreciate it greatly.
Oh, thanks for having me.
You bet. So I come across your name because I'm reading the Denver Gazette. And, well, one of the things in the article was you kind of think you have an idea of who the culprit is, who leaked this. Now, am I to understand that possibly this may have been what, I don't know, was it overblown what you said, taken out of context? I want to make sure that we're all on the same page.
Yeah. I think there was some clickbait with the title. I don't know who the actual person is. I just happen to think that the primary speculation right now is more than likely to be correct. There are some other possibilities, but one that makes the most sense is that there was a disaffected, angry clerk for one of the left-leaning justices on the court who was leaked it, perhaps to try to generate political opposition or to maybe
No. Well, friends, welcome to my hell. And it's too bad because I love working here. We have had phone issues all day. And this is kind of one where I'd go, Lord, if you can help us, maybe, just maybe, have no phone problems. Is he by chance back? Joshua, welcome to live radio, my brother. I hope you're still there.
Yeah, I know how it goes. I've done some of it before. So,
well, thank you.
You can hear me now?
I can hear you now. So we'll cross our fingers.
Oh, great.
You were saying, so maybe pick up again who you think, I mean, just using some logic. Go ahead.
Right. Yeah. So the primary speculation right now is that it would be a clerk of one of the more left-leaning justices on the court, Sotomayor, Kagan, or Breyer. A lot of the speculation around Sotomayor's clerks because she was actually quite angry during oral argument. And I just happen to think that's more than likely to be true. There's a possibility that a conservative could have leaked it, but I think it's much more remote. So I think that's I would put the odds of a conservative leaking it to the press at about 10 to 20%, and the odds of one of the clerks for a left-leaning justice being about 80 to 90%, somewhere in there.
Our guest is political science professor Joshua Dunn. He's with University of Colorado Springs and the political science department. I don't know if that is the narrative that I think maybe for our audience, oh, you know what? All professors everywhere are progressives to the left, whack jobs. I don't even care your political affiliation, but I find it fascinating. Can you do me a favor? Take me back to either yesterday or Monday evening. What was your reaction when you first got word, and maybe online or your phone or whatever, about the leak? You had to be like all of us going, you've got to be kidding me.
Oh, yes. So I got home from picking up a kid from baseball practice, and I go on, I think it was Twitter, and I saw that all the chatter was about it. And my first thought was, is this fake? And so I found the link and clicked on it, and I immediately decided it's fake. It's far more work for it to be fake. It takes a lot of effort to write a 100-page opinion that actually reads like a majority opinion. So that was my first reaction. And my second reaction was that I really did think that it was probably one of an angry clerk. The justices, after all, take this kind of their secrecy very seriously. They do not like this kind of thing getting out. And so I think it would be highly unlikely that one of the justices would have done it. And so then you have to ask you, well, who would have the motivation? What would be the kind of political calculus that someone would go through? So on the side that it would be a clerk for a left-leaning justice, it would be there's a wavering conservative justice who is part of the original majority. And they think that by releasing this, it might generate some political pressure to convince them to switch. That could be one thing. Or it could motivate some immediate political reaction while Democrats are still in control of the House and of the Senate, maybe to put some pressure on some of the Democratic senators who have not been as supportive of, say, the president's agenda, like Manchin and Sinema.
Mm-hmm.
On the conservative side, I think the rationale would be, well, maybe they want to embarrass a conservative justice who had initially joined the majority, but then had defected. And so that is a possibility. I still think it's unlikely because it's pretty clear that their votes are there at a minimum to uphold Mississippi's law. And on its own, that's a pretty significant victory for the conservatives on the court. And so I don't know that, and in fact, going into this, I kind of thought before the leak, I thought there was a good chance we'd have a 3-3-3 split on the court with 3 justices voting to uphold Mississippi's law, but not overturn Roe versus Wade, 3 justices voting to overturn Roe versus Wade, and then 3 justices voting to strike down Mississippi's law. So, I just thought that in the end, it just didn't make a whole lot of sense for a conservative to have leaked it, but it's still a possibility, right? And there is also the possibility we just won't ever know. It could be the court finds out who it is, and it would be embarrassing until they don't reveal it.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you. Our guest is Joshua Dunn. He's also the director of the Center for the Study of Government and the Individual at UCCS, joining us on the Newsline. Here's what I thought also among 1,000 thoughts yesterday was they're going to be able. I mean, they may have known Joshua yesterday. I mean, this is not cracking the ultimate code. It's somehow see from the outside, it would sure seem like it wouldn't be that difficult to find the leaker. And if it were to be a clerk of a Supreme Court justice, I mean, kiss your career goodbye.
Oh yeah, because these clerks, one of the great benefits of being a clerk on the Supreme Court is that you immediately get hired by a high-profile law firm. They pay you several $100,000 in a signing bonus. But there's not going to be a firm that has any business with the Supreme Court that's going to touch you.
Right.
So there are huge professional consequences, and they should be able to find out. They do. So with the actual printed documents, they double shred them and then they soak them in water to essentially pulp them.
Wow.
So they take all sorts of precautions to avoid this kind of thing. So there's got to be some kind of paper trail or digital watermark somewhere that they're going to be able to figure out which office this came from.
I think you bring up a great point just a couple of seconds ago that will the public ever know? Because, I guess this is part of a question. What kind of embarrassment from your professional point of view, what kind of embarrassment is this for the Supreme Court in total?
So I think there are at least two things that make it embarrassing for the court. They don't like the fact that people might be aware of their internal deliberations. They, of course, know that people know their internal deliberations, but part of the authority of the court comes from the idea that they kind of sit above politics. And so, therefore, they're just rationally divining as objectively as possible the meaning of the law.
Yeah.
And if it turns out that there's actually some people switching votes, changing votes based on perhaps not just legal reasons or just any appearance of indecisiveness itself, I think can undermine that reputation or the way the court is viewed. So that's one very important thing. The other is that they do want the final opinion of the court to be the final opinion of the court. And so anything that gets out there that indicates as well that there are changes or modifications in the final opinion ends up perhaps undermining the authority of that final opinion, at least in the eyes of some. Like, oh, well, there's some debate, internal disagreement on the court about what the law should actually be. And that's, again, not helpful for maintaining the status and the authority of the court in the eyes of the public.
Amazing. Our guest is Professor Joshua Dunn. He's also the chair of the political science department at the University of Colorado, Colorado Springs, joining us as we talk about, the source of the leak and the embarrassment, et cetera. When the dust settles, I wonder, boy, at the end, have you thought of how do they not necessarily get out of this one, but is it that, well, we've identified the internal source, that person is no longer working for a justice, et cetera. I don't know. There are definitely some cuts on the Supreme Court in my mind that will certainly need to heal over the coming days, weeks, months. And of course, next month, this decision was expected.
Yeah. Oh, yes. The rebuilding trust is going to be a difficult process. They'll be able to do it. But of course, some of it depends on who the leaker was, and if they identify the person, it could be that in the future they might not want to hire clerks from the law school that the leaker came from. So that's one thing that might happen. It also now if it does turn out that it was someone on the left, a clerk on the left who leaked it. This could also, I think, embolden the conservative wing on the court. They might become a bit more angry or exercised or more committed as a result of this because they'll view it as really a betrayal of the norms of the institution. And so, well, if that's going to happen, then we might as well just do what we think we ought to do no matter what and not try to play nice at all.
Yeah.
So there's that possibility as well, which could then bring other precedents into play that perhaps might not be have not been in play up until this point. So I think that is a possibility going forward.
I said yesterday, I probably have said today on the program as well, and I'd love your take. I mean, of all the institutions, I mean, yes, there are leaks from the CIA, the NSA, the FBI, Homeland Security. I got to tell you, I felt this profound sense of, really, as a news talk junkie and host, I felt this just huge, like, sense of disappointment because of the one institution that I thought, yes, of course, the justices are political. They go through a political process to be appointed, but
Right.
this would never happen. Have you felt the same?
Oh, yes, precisely because for the Supreme Court, that's also part of maintaining its status and power, and so they have a self-interest in doing this, but it's a self-interest that also at least gives some people some confidence in it gives them confidence
Right.
in the institution. You ask Supreme Court justices, and they will tell you, like Justice Souter, I remember him saying, "Well, the power of the Supreme Court really comes from the fact that people think that we're playing it straight." Right?
Yeah.
Those were his words. And so when there's something that undermines that, it really does undermine the legitimacy of the court. And it is the one institution out of all our national institutions that people still had some confidence in, right?
Yeah,
There's a lot of cynicism about our institutions. Some of it probably is undeserved, but some of it is well deserved. But the court is there, and people did look to it as a principled institution, even when they might disagree with it. And this erodes that. Yeah.
Just a couple quick more questions. I'm wondering, and you've kind of alluded to it, but I want to put it in a pointed question. If you and I last week had a cup of coffee and we meet for the first time, and I'm going to kind of tell you out of the side of my mouth, hey, next week, you're not going to believe this. There's going to be something leaked from the Supreme Court. And oh, by the way, it just happens to deal with a case that may be one of the most divisive, certainly in the last 100 years out of the Supreme Court. Would you have thought back last week, for example, or 3 days ago, that this would have even been a possibility based on what we have seen over literally the centuries, and stuff like this hasn't happened?
No. There have been leaks from the Supreme Court before, but nothing close to this, nothing of this magnitude. That would have been very shocking to me.
Yeah.
And I would not have wanted to believe it.
No,
and
same
again,
with
just
me.
because if you just know how the court operates, they are very careful about it. No, that can't be right. Someone misinformed you.
Mm-hmm. Well, just like you had said a few minutes ago, when I first saw this, my instant reaction was no, fake news. Let me ask you this. I don't know when the last time you were in front of students. I could assume maybe today, but how is this, or will it play out in the classroom?
Well, I'll tell you, I was teaching civil rights and liberties yesterday. The week before, guess what we were discussing? Roe versus Wade and
Shocking.
the rights of privacy. So it was it was a good time for my students to be in that class. And so we came into class tomorrow, and they were, they didn't know what to make of it. Because again, and I don't think most people know what to make.
Yeah.
Most court watchers don't know what to make of it because we've never seen anything like it. So for the students, it was of course fascinating that this could occur. But I got the sense that some of them, as you indicated, were a bit shaken by it.
Yeah.
This was unnerving that this could happen because they've spent a semester studying the Supreme Court, and whether they agree with particular decisions or not, I think they've gotten to the point where they respect the justices and their attempts to actually try to get the law right. And then this kind of thing, which diminishes the court in their eyes, was unfortunate for them.
Yeah, boy, I tell you what, if you could be a fly on the wall or eavesdropping on some text messages, cell phone conversations that have gone on within the walls of the Supreme Court, or, via as wherever the justices are, holy cow. Listen, I cannot thank you enough for your time. You're a terrific guest. I do have a quick, this is trying to butter you up. So drum roll, please. Here we go. Drum roll. Professor Joshua Dunn, will you be our official, unofficial University of Colorado Springs Politico for the Steffan Tubbs Show?
Oh, absolutely. Be delighted to.
You
This is great. I enjoyed this.
I loved it. Thank you. And we will talk to you soon, my man. Thanks so much.
Oh, thanks. Really appreciate it.
You too.
Have a great
Professor,
afternoon.
You too. Professor Joshua Dunn there, the chair of the Political Science Department. So what you're saying here is the professor feels there's an 80 to 90% chance that it was leaked by some lefty lib court clerk for a liberal justice. Of course, he did say 10 to 20% chance a court clerk for a conservative justice. Matt, great job getting him. Outstanding. And I look forward to having him on again as this whodunit unfolds. Coming up, our next segment includes an interview with Olivia Gans Turner. She directs the American Victims of Abortion and outreach program for the National Right to Life Committee. So stay tuned for that. It is Mother's Day this Sunday. You need a special gift for the special lady in your life. You want something that she's going to go, oh, honey, thank you. Yet you don't want to break the bank. You may have done in the past, and there's nothing wrong with it, of course. Restaurant, flowers, candy. Just don't be that guy that goes to the convenience store on Sunday morning and gets the Mother's Day card from the, the carousel at the, convenience store. That's kind of lame. For the last couple of years, though, haven't the women in your life gone through enough juggling time between you, the family, the job? How about this Mother's Day? Give her something special that she would probably just so need and enjoy. And that would be some peace and quiet and time to relax and rejuvenate with my friends at Beauvisage Skin Care and Spa. You can buy her a few hours of pampering. I have given the gift of Beauvisage. I have been there myself. It's great, clean, professional, and they truly specialize in luxurious services. Soothing massages, fabulous European facials, relaxing massages as well. Terrific gift packages you can put together, all at competitive prices. For details on all of the gift packages, one that's in your price range, give them a call. Tell them Steffan sent you. 303-779-5002. That's 303-779-5002 or bvspa.com. This Mother's Day, treat the special lady in your life like a queen. Beauvisage, 303-779-5002 or bvspa.com.
One crash on the drive out here, 225 in the Aurora area, southbound 225. It's approaching Colfax. That southbound drive is crowded from I-70 down to Colfax, then some better speeds. Tech Center looks great. I-25 moving right along. Headed northbound, you get a bunch up right around the Emerson Bridge, speeds teens 20s, heading up into downtown. Also heavy heading up to 84th Avenue. Highway 36 in great shape right now. No delay, Denver to Boulder, that drive about 25 minutes. There's a crash, Hamden at Piccadilly. I'm Susan Thielen.
This report is sponsored by Audible.
Charlie Kirk explains the leaked Supreme Court documents.
It simply means that states will be able to determine their own abortion laws. States will be able to say that if they want to outlaw abortion, then so be it. It's less about abortion. It's more about the Constitution. That's a very important thing where the left, they believe that abortion, for whatever reason, is some sort of constitutional right. It isn't.
The Charlie Kirk Show, weekdays at 10, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on News Talk 710, KNUS.
Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Colorado Flat Fee Realty.
In today's active real estate market, don't pay too much to sell your house. Colorado Flat Fee Realty is now offering a 2% option. If you were selling a $500,000 house, the agent typically charges you 6%. That's $30,000 for just a few days of work. Colorado Flat Fee Realty has a much better way. On that same $500,000 sale, you would save thousands with Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Now with a 2% option, why would you list your house with anyone else? Pay less, keep more. Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Call 303-300-9660 to find out more. 303-300-9660 or visit ColoradoFlatFeeRealty.com. Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Now with a 2% option. Pay less, keep more. ColoradoFlatFeeRealty.com.
Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Pay less, keep more, save thousands.
Hi, it's Mike Gallagher for MediShare. If something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, right? Switching to MediShare to pay for health care can save the typical family $500 a month. Wow. What would you do with $500 extra every single month? Pay some bills, fill up your gas tank, even as challenging as that is these days. Maybe take a vacation. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. I learned that the customer satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. It's amazing. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. And the very best part of all is that people save money and they're happier with MediShare. MediShare is a godsend. Give them a call right now, 855-94-BIBLE. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. MediShare, here's the number, 855-94-BIBLE. That's 855-94-BIBLE for MediShare.
UFCW Local 7 President Kim Cordova is attacking her own union members who worked during a strike, issuing fines totaling thousands of dollars, even insisting members pay Local 7 any wages they earned, making it harder for her members to keep food on the table, all while Cordova made over $200,000 and Local 7 has $14 million in the bank. Massive fines and vindictive attacks. Kim Cordova is hurting union members. Paid for by the Center for Individual Freedom.
J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling is your source for junk hauling, decluttering, demolition, cleanouts, and e-waste recycling. Whether it's clearing out an entire home, one room, or commercial space, J-Dog provides the best service at very competitive prices. Trust J-Dog to haul it out without you having to lift a thing. They are veteran-owned, operated, and hiring. Visit them at veteran-junkbizco.com. That's veteran-junkbizco.com.
News Talk 710 KNUS. Listen live on Odyssey.
CCS Joshua Dunn. Look forward to having him on again as we continue to talk about the leak. And then there's the second part of this story, and that is, well, what does it mean if Roe v. Wade from 1973 is overturned? We talked about it a lot yesterday. I'm not saying that one is more important than the other because of the significance, as we talked about, when it comes to a leak of this magnitude of one institution that I had so much faith in, maybe like you. Now, don't get me wrong. Of course, the overturning of Roe v. Wade would be huge, but call me at least skeptical. Why? Because I live in a state like Colorado, where they are proud to tell you under the Golden Dome, those with D's in front of their names, that we basically are, hell, we're a sanctuary state and a sanctuary city in Denver and Decay for illegals coming into Colorado. We're now a sanctuary state. Bring in all of your women. You're tired and poor. Socioeconomic status doesn't matter. Why don't you come on in from out of state? Because you can certainly get it done here, what maybe you can't get done in killing your, 8-month-old baby inside you if you live in places like Oklahoma, Florida, Texas, etc. So this is, Matthew, I still cannot believe that these people, they don't even think twice about it. Unbelievable. Olivia Gans Turner directs the American Victims of Abortion. It's an outreach project of the National Right to Life Committee. And thank you so much for joining us. I greatly appreciate your time and welcome to Denver.
Thank you so much, Mr. Tubbs. Glad to be with you guys.
Thank you.
Wonderful opportunity.
Thank you. Well, tell us about what you do and your group.
Well, I work, as you said, at the National Right to Life Committee. I have, since the early 1980s, directed a project with the National Right to Life Committee called American Victims of Abortion, which is actually made up of women like myself who have had abortions, and now also many times the fathers of aborted children as well, and sometimes other family members, because we recognize that every time an abortion occurs, there's actually a death in the family. And so my commitment to the movement is as much to providing assistance and support and laws that will protect the mothers of unborn children as well as the children themselves, because abortion is actually a tragedy across our society, across our culture.
Mm. When was the change of thought in, and I realize that we don't know each other, we're live on the radio, and I don't want to put you into a corner, but what you feel comfortable in sharing, what was the moment for you? Was there a moment where your kind of mode of thinking changed?
Well, my mode of thinking changed when I was told by the abortion providers that I went to, including Planned Parenthood. I had to go to 4 different individuals before we could find somebody that we could afford, that would be in the hospital, et cetera. And the long and the short of it is that each of those individuals who performed abortions on a regular basis told me that I was selfish, childish, immature, and irrational, probably because I was pregnant, and I should do the smart thing, which was to have an abortion. So my commitment is to helping our society understand why abortion is so bad for everyone involved. Obviously, my child died in the process, and the reality is that I live every day of my life with the memory of a child I can't hold. I am pleased to work at the National Right to Life Committee, which has affiliates across the United States and all 50 states. And the phenomenon for National Right to Life has always been how far can we go? How much the strongest protective laws possible is what National Right to Life has always sought to pass. And it's been exciting to see and to be a part of and to testify in state legislatures across the country for laws like women's right to know bills or parental consent laws or pain-capable unborn child protection acts, which are now the law in about 18 states that protect babies after they reach the point in pregnancy when they can feel pain, which is 20 weeks or earlier, maybe as early as 17 or 18 weeks. And of course, the Mississippi case that we're talking about is predicated on some of this new scientific conversation surrounding the ability of unborn children to feel pain, and does that then thereby qualify them for protection under the law. So there's a lot of things that I've been proud of doing with the National Right to Life Committee, whose goal ultimately, frankly, would be to see a human life amendment passed. Now, we're light years away from that, and if Roe v. Wade is actually overturned as when we know the final decision, we're still going to be light years away from that kind of protection for unborn children and their mothers. So an enormous amount of work ahead of the pro-life movement here.
I want to be sure I'm saying I'm looking at the press release. Your name is both Gans Turner and Turner Gans. Which is it?
Oh, I'm sorry. Somebody sent you the wrong thing. I'm Olivia Gans Turner now. I was in the movement for many, many, many years. I'm older than my voice sounds, maybe. But I've been in the movement since I was not long out of college, not long after my own abortion. And as such, I was known by most of the people in the movement across. I've spoken in all 50 states and 17 countries outside the U.S., and I was not married, so I was Olivia Gans. So when I married my beloved husband 10 years ago, he insisted that I had to remain Olivia Gans Turner because no one would know who I was.
Gotcha. That's now it makes perfect sense. Well, I'm so appreciative of your time. Let me ask you, and yeah, that's kind of a baited question, but I was saying right before you came on, I don't know how. I live in a state where the fellow Coloradans that are elected under the Golden Dome in downtown Denver, how they were able to convince themselves that, hey, we want to be this sanctuary state for those that, we're not gonna be like Texas and Florida. And I know the argument very well. I'm wondering though, not being here in Colorado with us, how do people like you, organizations like who you're with, view states like this state, like Colorado, and what, my God, we just put on the books?
Well, it's a very good question. And the reality is that I don't think a lot of pro-lifers realize that simply, hopefully, please God, removing Roe v. Wade from the law of the land will not magically make abortions illegal or go away or change the situation in many, many places. I happen to work for the National Right to Life Committee, which is based in the Washington, D.C. area, and I live in the Virginia area, and Virginia is another state just like Colorado that right now would be a sanctuary state for abortionists, because 2 years ago, the majority of our protective pro-life laws were stripped out by a pro-abortion majority. We have the same problem. We have a pro-abortion majority. We now have a split situation. We have a new pro-life governor, and we have a pro-life House, but we have a pro-abortion Senate. So right now, the obstacle course to getting protective laws in place is very, very high. And the same is true for Colorado and many other states. So I think it's very important for pro-life people in general to recognize that simply removing Roe v. Wade does not make everything better automatically. It's something that it's not to put a damper on it. I liked what you said earlier, Steffan, when you said that, we're all going to rejoice. Every pro-lifer is going to be happy to see the back of Roe v. Wade, should that be what the court does when they finally do release the real decision. When that happens, there won't be a pro-lifer anywhere that isn't happy to see it go. But wise pro-lifers who understand how policy is made, how legislation is passed, realize this does not mean we have an easy road ahead. We may have decades to fix the problem. Colorado is just one of many places where that's the case. That doesn't mean we can't do anything, but it does mean we need to, as many would say, gird our loins and be ready for the next part of this process.
Yeah. And I said earlier, and before you came on, we had the protesters, if you will, show up outside the Colorado State Capitol yesterday afternoon. They remained there well past sunset. And truly, my blood just boils when I said on the program, Olivia, I said, what are they out there protesting? Are they protesting for the other states? They live in a state right now that is perhaps the most lenient. Oh yeah, sure. Full term. You're in your third trimester. Don't worry about it. You can make your decision right there at the end. Hell, give birth and kill it. I mean, what are these people protesting? I that's not really a question. It's more of a statement. Thank you for letting me vent. But it's crazy.
I do a workshop. Listen, Steffan, I'll tell you, I do a workshop called When the Shouting Stops. And it actually is about this phenomenon of seeing, and we've seen this now recently with Texas, we saw it before, the Shout Your Abortion campaign is kind of popping up all over the country. I have to say that I too was surprised, shocked, and not entirely by the presence of protesters in and around Virginia and Maryland, up here where we are. Instantaneously in the capital city of Richmond, Virginia, in the afternoon after the announcement, boom, there were 100 protests. Well, we just had a March for Life in Virginia just a week before, just 1 week ago, and it took months of planning to get the nearly 1,000 people that we had there. So don't tell me that there isn't orchestration going on here. We all know there's a plan afoot, that this is something nefarious that's going on. And the mere fact that you haven't heard any Democrat leader at the federal or state levels in most cases condemn the really unheard of act of leaking even a draft document from the Supreme Court is really telltale that there's more afoot here than most people want to deal with. And that's what's really unnerving. When you have Mitch McConnell on the floor of the Senate yesterday calling out his colleagues on the Democratic side, that not a single one had the character to say, what just happened at the Supreme Court is unacceptable.
Absolutely.
Unacceptable.
Yeah. Listen, I got to take a break. Are you good for one more segment?
Yes, sir, I am. I'm at your disposal.
That would be great. And by the way, all that you just said, I've got to play it for you. I love it.
Sing it. I love to sing that one too.
Awesome. We'll put you on hold. Olivia Gans Turner with the National Right to Life Committee directs the American Victims of Abortion. She had an abortion herself. And I cannot tell you how appreciative I am, and I hope you are appreciative of as well of somebody that can come on and not only talk about what they do for a living, but just the fact that they would share a personal story. But I think she is a terrific guest. We will take a break right now for news. And when we come back, more from Olivia. This is 710 KNUS.
News Talk 710. Update.
Police in Denver are investigating a body found inside a vehicle that was submerged in the South Platte this morning at about 9:30, just after midnight. The adult male driver was heading southbound on Jason Street and failed to stop at the stop sign at South Platte River Drive. The driver and the vehicle crashed into the river. The victim has not been identified. Reports say Donald Trump Jr. is talking with the House committee investigating the January 6th events at the Capitol. Trump Jr. reportedly did not assert his Fifth Amendment rights during the Tuesday meeting, which lasted a little more than 3 hours. A U.S. official says around 2,000 Russian troops are still in the Ukrainian city of Mariupol. However, the official said some of the troops are now being moved north to create better defensive positions. The Fed raised interest rates by 0.5 percentage point today, and on Wall Street at the closing bell, the Dow gained 932 points. The S&P grew by 124 points. The NASDAQ rose by 401 points to 12,964. A Florida woman is raising the bar for 100th birthday celebrations. Ramonda Sullivan recently went tandem skydiving to celebrate turning 100 years old. Sullivan told WPTV that she'd never jumped out of a plane before and doesn't plan on doing it again. Game 2 for the Avalanche tomorrow against the Predators. They won Game 1 last night in the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs, 7-2 in the opening round. Broncos will play the Jacksonville Jaguars on October 30th in London. Steffan's ready to go once again. Stay with us. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Problems on the highway. We got a bunch of them. Westbound 270, horrible drive across Commerce City, over an hour. Stay off westbound 270. There's emergency road work near Vasquez, blocking the right lane. Traffic stopped back to I-70. I-25, trouble in the downtown area. It's crashed south on I-25 after Colfax, blocking up the 2 right lanes. Backing up there, slow toward 38th Park Avenue. Wreck in Aurora still causing a delay. Southbound 225 near Colfax and crowded toward I-70. I'm Susan Phelan.
This report is sponsored by Audible. Whatever you love listening to, you'll find it on Audible. Best-selling audiobooks, exclusive originals, podcasts, and more. Sign up and start free at audible.com.
Mostly cloudy with some lingering areas of showers and isolated thunderstorms through late evening, and maybe a couple of showers going past the midnight hour and into the morning hours of Thursday. Lows will be in the upper 30s. Thursday, a morning sprinkler shower, then clearing. Highs near 70, warming to the mid to upper 70s for Friday and Saturday. Weather brought to you by Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Now with a 2% option, pay less, keep more. ColoradoFlatFeeRealty.com. Meteorologist Don Day on 710 KNUS.
You know, it's been said, the greatest single virtue of a strong legislature is not what it can do, but what it can prevent. So listen carefully, Colorado. Our legislators are being pushed hard by special interests to do the unthinkable. Pass House Bill 1233, giving eye surgery privilege to optometrists who are not medical doctors or trained surgeons, but may then be able to perform eye surgery after simply taking a 32-hour training session. But Colorado's registered voters want to prevent this dangerous change. 87% think only ophthalmologists who have at least 8 years of medical and surgical training should do eye surgery. But 96% have not heard anything about this bill from their legislators. So please, don't wait any longer. Tell your legislators, only surgeons should perform eye surgery.
Paid for by Colorado Society of Eye Physicians and Surgeons.
Air conditioning season is already here. It's that time of year when temperature swings can change 30 degrees in a single day. Now is the time to call Squeak Services to get your AC ready. Preventive maintenance is the only way to save on costly repairs. And when you call Squeaks, you'll only pay $60 to ensure your AC unit is working at its best and ready for the season. Call, text, or chat with Squeak Services 7 days a week to set an AC maintenance appointment today. Call 303-280 800-880-5765 or visit squeaksservices.com.
This is George Brockler for Littleton Jewelry. I don't know about you, but a local jeweler I can trust is a little thing that's actually a big thing. Whether it's a watch repair, diamond upgrade, or something else, anything else, we're usually talking about a piece of jewelry that has as much sentimental value as it does monetary value. Littleton Jewelry are my team. I trust for everything from repairs to major purchases. Jesse and his team will take great care of you. Littleton Jewelry is located on Santa Fe, just south of Hudson Gardens. Look for the jewelry repair sign. Visit littletonfinejewelry.com.
There has been no evidence of widespread voter fraud.
The 2020 elections were one of the most corrupt in history. See the proof for yourself.
We tracked 2,000 mules making multiple ballot drops.
2,000 Mules, the shocking new movie from Dinesh D'Souza.
One mule made 53 trips to 20 drop boxes.
2,000 Mules in theaters 2 nights only, May 2nd and May 4th, with a special virtual premiere May 7th. Tickets available only at 2000mules.com. 2000mules.com. News Talk 710 KNUS. Listen live on Odyssey.
the largest annual gatherings of conservatives in the Western United States. Thousands of attendees, over 100,000 viewers online. I'm Jeff Hunt. Join us June 3rd and 4th at the Gaylord Rockies Resort and Convention Center in Denver, Colorado.
This year's summit features former Trump press secretaries Kayleigh McEnany, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, Congresswoman Lauren Boebert, and many more. Get tickets today at 710knus.com.
Brad was a young father who worked on a farm. One day his tractor rolled over and crushed his pelvis. He had a long and expensive recovery. Like many of faith, Brad turned to his healthcare sharing ministry, a community of Christian believers who share one another's medical bills and pray for each other too. They were there for Brad and shared the entirety of his bill, over $100,000. Now, Colorado legislators are debating a deeply misguided bill, HB 1269. The bill would impose costly burdens on healthcare sharing ministries. It would also place these faith-based charities that are not involved in insurance under the thumb of the state insurance bureaucracy. Enough is enough. Do we really want government meddling in the religious communities of more than 50,000 Coloradans? It's time to take action. Tell your senator to oppose HB 1269 and keep the government out of Christian healthcare. Visit savechristianhealthcare.org to learn more. savechristianhealthcare.org.
This is Dan Kaplis. I was in a meeting in our office the other day with a bunch of our attorneys and a couple of our wonderful clients, and I looked around and thought back to that great Lou Gehrig quote I toasted Amy with at our wedding reception. Today, I feel like the luckiest man on the face of the earth. The way I see it, and I see it every day, our lawyers and staff are world-class professionals and people who are deeply committed to our clients on a very human level. Their level of talent, skill, and proven accomplishments is mind-blowing. So if you ever need a lawyer for a serious injury case, I hope you at least sit down with us and see the firepower and deep personal commitment that we bring to the table. We're a serious firm for serious cases. We take righteous cases on a percentage fee basis so good people from all walks of life can benefit from our vast resources without regard to ability to pay. If you need our help, call 303-770-5551 or hit dankapleslaw.com. That's dankapleslaw.com.
Hi, it's Peter Boyles. Come and celebrate Mother's Day at the Butchery in Arvada on Sunday, May the 8th from 2 p.m. till 9 p.m. Treat Mom. Incredible beef menus of bacon-wrapped filet mignon, garlic butter mushrooms, or Black River blue cheese encrusted fillets, and of course the Butchery's succulent prime rib. If Mom loves fresh seafood, get the cold water lobster tails, juicy jumbo sea scallops, or the savory bourbon barrel salmon. Make your Mother's Day reservation today by going to thebutcheryarvada.com. It's thebutcheryarvada.com.
Serving overseas was just the beginning. We might be home from war, but our mission continues in communities all across the country. It's why we're out there in times of peace and crisis, providing meals to the hungry and supplies to the sick. It's why we're giving strength to those who are too weak and bringing resources to those without them. Service doesn't stop when we're done serving. It's what makes us the VFW. Learn more at vfw.org.
News, traffic, weather, and the latest on Ukraine. News Talk 710, KNUS, Denver. The news now.
48 degrees and cloudy outside Wednesday at 6 o'clock on your drive home. Traffic and weather ahead. In April, a woman died from injuries suffered after being choked and then run over in Aurora. The suspect drove away. Aurora police homicide detectives have arrested Jordan Howard and booked him on suspicion of first-degree murder. Detectives believe that there might be additional victims that may not have reported being assaulted by Howard. The victim has not been identified. Here's KNUS First Alert Traffic.
Tough drive across Commerce City. You want to stay off westbound 270. That entire drive is over an hour from I-70 to I-25. The problem is some road work set up. Westbound 270 between Vasquez and York. That is the right lane blocked, backed up onto I-70. Westbound 70 real heavy from right around Havana on out to Colorado Vasquez. Crash in the drive heading into downtown, running slow, southbound I-25. The accident's just after Colfax in the right lanes. I'm Susan Thielen.
This report is sponsored by Audible.
Depend on GDIT to deliver the art of the possible in AI, cloud, and cyber. Learn more at gdit.com.
Mostly cloudy with some lingering areas of showers and isolated thunderstorms through late evening, and maybe a couple of showers going past the midnight hour and into the morning hours of Thursday. Lows will be in the upper 30s. Thursday, a morning sprinkler shower, then clearing. Highs near 70, warming to the mid to upper 70s for Friday and Saturday. Weather brought to you by Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Now with a 2% option, pay less, keep more. ColoradoFlatFeeRealty.com. Meteorologist Don Day on 710 KNUS.
Thanks, Don. 48 degrees. This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Stores are a new world of possible with innovative tools for small business and remote workers and learners. Explore more at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com. The Fed raised interest rates by a 0.5 percentage point today on Wall Street at the closing bell. The Dow gained 932 points. The S&P 500 grew by 124 points. The NASDAQ rose by 401 points to 12,964. Attorneys general across the country are urging President Biden to forgive student debt. New York's AG called for bolder, more decisive action after news broke that Biden is thinking about forgiving $10,000 worth of debt for each student. All right, back to Steffan now. By the way, the Broncos take on the Jags in London on October 30th.
Portions of the following program have been pre-recorded. A longtime newsman with
in the newsroom. Final hour of the program. If you're just joining us, thank you. Man, you missed a great hour. You can always catch via podcast, of course, at the app or the website. Our thanks to our most recent guest, Olivia Gans-Turner, with National Right to Life and the NRLC. And then our first segment, how about the chair of the Department of Political Science, Professor Joshua Dunn from University of Colorado, Colorado Springs, UCCS. He thinks 80 to 90%, what did he say? Yeah, 80 to 90% sure the leak was from a disgruntled Supreme Court justice clerk for a more liberal justice. That was a great hour, Matt. Great job getting those guests on, and we'll continue to follow the story, obviously, talk about it with guests like we had on, and of course, with you as well. We welcome you, and welcome to our friends on YouTube. I've been told by a little birdie that now it's just, we're going to do it every day, every single day. You can go to the 710 KNUS YouTube channel and see what I'm wearing every single day. And one of our great listeners, a great texter, a dude that I certainly don't think I've ever met, but he knows who he is because he was, over the last couple of weeks, asking very creepy questions. Now that we're going to be on YouTube, so they tell me every single day, don't be a creeper. Via the text, and this individual who, again, bless your heart, love you listening, literally asked earlier in the program, Matt, via text, and I quote, "What does Matt look like?" Close quote. See, that's a creeper. That's an absolute creeper. And I'm kind of making fun, but I'm only half joking. Like, dude, you know, it's not a good idea, say, if you're at happy hour at a bar and you go up to, say, a woman and say, for example, just, no, I've never used this, but hey, baby, you tired? No, I'm not tired. She would say, no, I'm not tired. And then he would say something like, well, you should be, because you've been running around in my mind. Like, don't be that guy. Don't be the guy that does the comb over. Don't be the guy that wears jean shorts. Don't be the guy that wears socks with sandals. All of those things, courtesy of me, free to you. 3 ways to get in touch with us. 1 way to watch us. Actually, 4 ways to get in touch with us via social media at Tubb Show, the website, the app, and our phone number, 303-696-1971. If you listened last hour, obviously with guests like we had, there was no time to take any phone calls. So if maybe you wanted to chime in, maybe yesterday you wanted to get in, but you got a busy signal, just getting off work, this leak thing has pissed you off. Maybe, just maybe, you're like me, that, I don't know, you felt that of the one institution, the Supreme Court of the United States, that this certainly would never happen there. Sure, you've got your whistleblowers and your leaks from the FBI to the CIA to the NSA, all of that. Yeah, those leaks can happen, but it would never happen with our Supreme Court. And I meant what I said last hour to the professor. I mean, I really was disappointed. Like, damn. I didn't like it. Still don't like it. There was the president from earlier today. Did you hear this, Jim?
Because this MAGA crowd is really the most extreme political organization that's existed in American history.
Wow. It's the Party of Unity. Remember, Joe Biden, I know 2 of his campaign trail mantras. There were many. 1, he was going to cure cancer. Vote for me, I'm going to cure cancer, in essence. And then we all need to be unified. Come together. Friends, come together. Extend the hand, the olive branch. We've gone through so much from my predecessor. And then just, not too many hours ago.
Because this MAGA crowd is really the most extreme political organization that's existed in American history.
Yeah, we've heard that one before. I did say earlier in the program, and I mean it, I think Joe Biden today, actually bringing it here local, because we're live and local, I think Joe Biden today channeled Comrade Marcano from the Aurora City Council. You remember him.
So I do believe in radical candor. And I'm sorry, I think you might need to do some soul searching, because I do believe, honest to God, that the Republican Party is a sadistic death cult. It is the most dangerous organization that has ever existed.
Well, there's that. Again, our number 303-696-1971. I don't know. I've done it every hour, so I might as well for the 6 o'clock hour. Again, speaking of unity, and again, I don't know why. If you're just clicking on, I've mentioned a couple of times, why downtown? Why downtown Denver and Decay? Yesterday afternoon, into the evening, television crews live at the Capitol. Bloggers, internet newspapers, the Denver Post, etc., covering the protesters outside the Capitol yesterday. Don't they know where they live? Baby, you just be happy. I say baby. It's been on my mind a lot. The word baby. Baby, don't you worry about a thing. You live in Colorado, we will kill the baby. And even if they won't in Florida or in Texas or in Oklahoma, you have a safe haven here. We proudly, they would say, we let it happen. I don't get it. I'm still stupefied. But back to, why were they protesting outside the Capitol yesterday? With the leak and this opinion that is not official, but it sure as hell scared a lot of people. Why are they scared? Why are they protesting? Why are they angry? Why not just go and have lunch or dinner? Don't they know where they live? There is no reason to protest in Colorado. The Democrats have your back. They will let you at 8 months. I've decided in my 3rd trimester, you know what? I'd rather be single, no kids. Well, welcome on in. Just book your appointment. That's Colorado. So why were they protesting? For their brothers and sisters in other states? And as I mentioned, I've done it every hour, so I might as well. Meantime, the Party of Unity and let's all get along. And, it's only the crazy whack jobs on the right that get crazy, right? At least one cop was injured last night in Los Angeles, and I'm sure it's just that I was focusing on LA. I'm sure other skirmishes and disrespecting law enforcement, I'm sure that happen in many parts of our country. Now, not too many miles away from where that fracas was going on sits the beautiful Hollywood Bowl, right off of the 101 freeway, just north of, say, Sunset Boulevard, Hollywood Boulevard, Hollywood and Vine, not too far from there. One of the legendary comedians, a brilliant comic mind. We've talked about him a few times over the course of the last year. Dave Chappelle was playing, if you will, giving his stand-up comedy at the Hollywood Bowl when someone decided to pull a Will Smith and jump up on stage.
St. Louis for hip hop history.
And that last part, is because the guy that jumped up on stage and apparently, did he tackle Dave Chappelle? I think he tried to at minimum. The security guards were on him like, you know what. It was like, they were on him like stink on. Yeah. And then they beat the holy out of the guy, who now will probably somehow figure out a way to sue the city of Los Angeles, sue comedian Dave Chappelle, and sue, well, the security guards. But that may be encompassing both the city and Dave Chappelle, because they actually were working for either the city or Chappelle. This seems on the surface to me to be kind of fake because, and I don't think it is, but it just, come on. After Chappelle gets back to the stage, he's like, was that Will Smith? And who was there in, I would presume, the front row? I think he later came on stage with him last night. Chris Rock. I mean, what are the odds? Maybe someone, now it makes sense. Maybe someone was triggered by seeing Chris Rock. It's all bullshit, isn't it? I mean, it all is. It is dinner time, my friends. If you are wondering, do I go through that drive-through? What's in the fridge? Is he or she going to cook me dinner tonight? I'm hungry now. Get to my friends at the Black Eyed Pea. There are 9 Colorado locations. One is probably really close to you right now, locally owned and operated by mom and pop Steve and Michelle. If you haven't been there in a while, their lunches are awesome. Huge menu and selection. Same for dinner. And how about this Sunday? It is Mother's Day. And if you don't have any plans, make them to get to the Black Eyed Pea. They're open this Sunday. They'll open at 10:30 in the morning. Mother's Day specials at the Black Eyed Pea include delicious grilled Atlantic salmon, the wonderful hand-carved prime rib, delicious grilled mahi-mahi, as well as chicken cordon bleu. You're going to be served with 2 fresh sides, fresh baked bread and cornbread, baked rolls and cornbread. And the featured dessert for Mother's Day is a cup of cherry cobbler with, of course, ice cream. Celebrate Mom, celebrate Mother's Day at your local Black Eyed Pea. And if you're looking for a job, they're still hiring. blackeyedpeacolorado.com. You can click on employment. We love supporting Colorado's small business, and you can do just that at your local Black Eyed Pea, whether it's tonight for dinner, tomorrow for lunch, or this Sunday for Mother's Day. Again, they open at 10:30 Sunday morning. All the details and maybe where the nearest location is, you can download their app or visit blackeyedpeacolorado.com. How many times today has someone told you, may the force be with you? Strike that. May the 4th be with you. I did put out on Twitter today, who shot first, Han or Greedo? Again, I'm not a geek to the point for Star Wars that I would dress up like Obi-Wan Kenobi and go to a convention, but I absolutely love 80% of all the Star Wars movies ever. And of course, my two favorite are, Episode 4 and Episode 5, the original Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back. In that original, number 1, which is really number 4, there is a scene at the cantina. Some of you
sometimes. Do you think I had a choice? For my dead body. Yes, I bet you have.
Oh! There is only one correct answer. Who shot first?
Sorry about the mess.
Han shot first. And I love Han Solo. Probably my favorite character of all of them. But he shot first. So in the spirit of May the 4th, if you are on Twitter and you truly have nothing else to do right now, you can take the poll. I'll update it before the show ends. Yeah, why not, Matt? We had so much heavy last hour, and it was terrific with great guests. Why not go through a little bit of Star Wars? I believe the scene from episode 6. This would be Return of the Jedi. You got to admit, when you first saw Jabba the Hutt, you were like, whoa.
Chisa, Picha, Kuanki Chewbacca. Kanchita, droid.
Yes, I am here, Your Worshipfulness. Yes?
Yuba, Colorado, Kamawaipa. Yes, Kachung, Kawawoki.
The illustrious Jabba bids you welcome and will gladly pay you the reward of 25,000.
You know.
50,000, no less.
Of course, eventually the mask comes off. It's Princess Leia. Now, probably my favorite of all of them, and I like most of them. A couple of those weren't that great. Ewan McGregor, though, love him as Obi-Wan. When push comes to shove, I'd have to say Empire Strikes Back is probably my favorite. The opening, I remember seeing it at the movie theater, waiting in line for what seemed to be an eternity. And that opening scene when they are on the ice planet Hoth, and then Luke, he's hanging upside down. He's in a cave. Oh my God, what is this? The abominable snowman. Use the Force, Luke. And then, how about Han Solo? I thought they smell bad. On the outside, he cuts it open and they well, eventually they were found.
This is row 2. Captain Solo, do you copy? Commander Skywalker, do you copy? This is row 2. Good morning. Nice of you guys to drop by. Echo Base, this is row 2. I found them. Repeat, I found them.
So cool. Of course, there are one-liners throughout. Well, each Star Wars film has tried to have really amazing one-liners. Some have fell kind of flat. But how about this classic from Empire?
Come on.
You're imagining things.
Am I? Then why are you following me? Afraid I was going to leave without giving you a goodbye kiss?
I just assumed it's a Wookiee.
I can arrange that.
Now, episode 4 ends with, of course, use the Force, Luke.
You're all clear, kid. Now let's blow this thing and go home.
Of course, they would end up rebuilding the Death Star later on. The films have daddy issues kind of interwoven between plot lines.
You are beaten. It is useless to resist. Don't let yourself be destroyed as Obi-Wan did.
That'll leave a mark.
There is no escape. Don't make me destroy you. Luke, you do not yet realize your importance. You have only begun to discover your power. Join me, and I will complete your training.
And just remember, friends,
The Force will be with you. Always.
There's road construction westbound 270 past Vasquez. That is blocking up the right lane. Now, the westbound I-70 drive running heavy and slow from Havana on out to about Kawada Vasquez. Then some better speeds for you. One other problem in the downtown area. It's a crash southbound I-25 just after Colfax. Been blocking up the right lanes, slow to I-70. I'm Susan Phelan.
This report is sponsored by Audible. Whatever you love listening to, you'll find it on Audible. Best-selling audiobooks, exclusive originals, podcasts, and more. Sign up and start free at audible.com.
Mark Levin doesn't see it as supporting free speech.
The American Marxist, that is, the Democrat Party, is not about free speech or ideas or debates. They're about propaganda, indoctrination, censorship, because that equals subversion of the existing society. Why would they want Twitter to be about speech? They're trying to indoctrinate people, replace 1776 with 1619.
Mark Levin, weeknights at 7 on News Talk 710 KNUS.
Joe O'Dea, an outsider, not a career politician. Joe O'Dea, a conservative running for U.S. Senate. Joe was adopted and raised by a Denver police officer. He became a union carpenter and started a construction company as a young man. That construction company employs hundreds of Coloradans today. Now Joe O'Dea is running for U.S. Senate to be a voice for working people, to attack inflation, cut the waste, fund our military, police, and America's infrastructure. Joe O'Dea is endorsed by Colorado's largest organization of police officers. Listen to what Joe has to say.
You know why Washington is so disconnected? It's run by too many people who have never had to work a hard day in their life. Yeah. So when people say, why are you running, Joe? I'm running to be a voice for the working people of this country. I am one of you, and I will fight for you.
Joe O'Dea, conservative, outsider, a voice for working Americans.
I'm Joe O'Dea, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Joe O'Dea for U.S. Senate.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Men over 40. Is your body feeling softer and not as lean? Losing your energy, muscle, or sleep quality? You could be feeling a loss of growth hormone. As you age, your natural production of GH begins to significantly slow down. Here's the good news. GH Boost from Nugenix is the world's only non-prescription supplement that safely supercharges your body's GH production and helps you get a great night's sleep. Clinical studies show the ingredients in GH Boost can increase your body's own GH levels more than 100%. Guys all over America are loving this product.
Great product. I just started using it and I'm already seeing results.
I definitely feel the difference. Much better sleep and much more energy.
Guys over 40, you need GH Boost. And right now, you can get a complimentary 2-week sample. Just text BLING to 321-321. It's killing it at GNC, but you could only get your sample by texting BLING to 321-321. That's BLING to 321-321. Text BLING to 321-321.
The Tree Farm's early spring tree and shrub sale now through Mother's Day. See what's on sale at thetreefarm.com. Choose from thousands of shade trees, evergreen trees, fruit trees, and more. And the Tree Farm has thousands of white, pink, or red flowering trees, including spring snow fruitless crabapple and a lot more. And you always get free professional loading. The Tree Farm's early spring tree and shrub sale now through Mother's Day. Come see.
I-25 to exit 235. Then 5 miles west to the Tree Farm.
It's easy and profitable to be kind to others when you enter the Kindness Challenge. Each day for 30 days, we'll post a new act of kindness that you can do for others. On June 1st, you could win $5,000, and a deserving organization will also receive $5,000 in your name. You can make a difference in others' lives when you enter the Kindness Challenge.
The Kindness Challenge is brought to you in part by Littleton Jewelry, your home for custom jewelry, diamonds, and repairs.
What will the court do about the leak? That's coming up later on News Talk 710 KNUS.
on the 710 KNUS YouTube channel. You can tune in. Thank you for those of you that are watching that way and listening that way. And of course, the old fashioned way from your old radio, whether it's next to your bed, in the kitchen, or in your car. And of course, podcasts and live streaming via devices, laptops and cell phones and desktop computers. A reminder for you, you've got tonight, tomorrow night, and most of Friday, our film this week. Thankfully, it's a comedy, and I think it's a great, great one. But with this week, I need a break. I need to laugh. Sponsored by Danny Cash, Danny Cash Hot Sauce, DannyCash.com. Our film this week from 1989, Major League. Major League. Speaking of baseball, we're going to wrap up the program in our next and final segment with a kid who gets a home run ball. He's a Yankees fan. The home run ball, though, in Toronto last night was caught by, a Blue Jays fan. So we'll talk about that. But Major League, if you haven't seen it in a while, it is as funny as you remember. That wouldn't have been out of most parks. Name one. Yellowstone. I'm not quite sure if that's in Major League, though, but I do remember that. Is it? How about just a bit outside? Bob Uecker is freaking amazing. And because I watch a ton of baseball, I would watch your child or grandchild play a little league game. That's how much I love baseball. Bob Uecker, I just listened to last night. He's still one of the television voices for the Milwaukee Brewers. So Danny Cash brings us Major League. So you got tonight, tomorrow night, most of Friday, about 6:40 Friday evening. Heading into the weekend, we'll give you clips, trivia, and more. And of course, Matt, we got to put on the to-do list, Wild Thing. Dun, dun, we got to play that, of course. Goes with the film if you haven't seen it. Danny Cash, if you have not been there, you need to get there. River Point Shopping Center near Santa Fe and Hamden in the city of Sheridan, Colorado. You can also visit their website, see the incredible selection, whether you're in person or online. I guarantee you will be hard-pressed to find one location with more hot sauce and barbecue sauce varieties than Danny Cash. And here's a really cool thing. We confirmed with Danny, and I've wanted to do this for weeks. He is like the epitome of the Colorado small business success story. Went through the pandemic. Were they going to survive? How did he start it? What about who dreams of, I'm going to grow up and I'm going to make hot sauce? Danny Cash will join us in studio coming up next week. In fact, Tuesday in the 4 p.m. hour. I don't expect you to remember, but I'll give you a reminder. But in a little less than a week, we'll have the brother in and kind of get his Colorado small business story. DannyCash.com, where you can find out all the information about what he does. And of course, we present the film thanks to Danny and his great team. The president, I mentioned this earlier. I'm not trying to stoke your fire, especially in the final 30 minutes of the program, but I do think it is worth repeating. This individual doesn't know when to shut up. I don't know half the time, just like you, if he even knows what he's saying. But don't think he's that dumb that he didn't know that he said this.
Because this MAGA crowd is really the most extreme political organization that's existed in American history.
It's all about unity, isn't it? One more time.
Because this MAGA crowd is really the most extreme political organization that's existed in American history.
Remember what MAGA stands for? Make America Great Again. What I find so hypocritical among many, and I'm just giving it to you straight from the shoulder here, friends, is if you look over the calendar, the last 12 months, how many of these ridiculous pit stops, I guess we could call them presidential pit stops, and trust me, every president in your lifetime and way before, they've done these. Trump did it. They'll do it down the road. Biden does it. Obama did it. Bush did it. Reagan. It's these presidential pit stops. And what I find so incredibly hypocritical is over the past 12 months or so, how many of those presidential pit stops in Ohio or Virginia or where's another place they like to go? Michigan. Joe, of course, likes Scranton. Some of the presidential pit stop information that's come out of President Joe Biden's mouth really sounds like a guy who was all about making America great again. Keeping jobs in the United States. Let's be there for the working American. Yet at the same time, again, it's about alienation and they don't care. They will pit their mother against you and they don't care the outcome if it benefits them. It's gross. What is hard to swallow, perhaps, what the Fed did today.
The Federal Reserve is raising its key interest rate 0.5%, the biggest increase in 22 years. It's part of its effort to tame inflation and rising costs for Americans. Fed Chair Jerome Powell.
We've got to get back to price stability so that we can have a labor market where people's wages aren't being eaten up by inflation.
Powell says the Fed is prepared for more similar rate hikes, but financial analysts worry it could trigger a recession. Steve Dorsey, CBS News, the Federal Reserve.
Interest rates are going up for a range of consumer loans, from home mortgages to credit card debt, after the Fed raised its benchmark lending rate by 0.5 percentage point. The move has been expected as the central bank attempts to gain control over inflation, which is at a 40-year high. And similar half-point moves are anticipated at the next several Fed meetings this year.
When asked at a presidential pit stop, Mr. President, what do you think of the 50 basis point hike by the Fed today? That's all he said. And, of course, we will continue to follow throughout the rest of the week until kingdom come, if we have to, the leak and the fallout of the leak.
While the draft majority opinion penned by Justice Samuel Alito says it should only be read to apply to abortion rights, President Biden says he fears its logic could be used to undermine such things as access to contraception and LGBT rights.
What are the next things that are going to be attacked?
He said followers of former President Trump subscribe to an extreme agenda.
This MAGA crowd is really the most extreme political organization that's existed in American history.
Stephen Portnoy, CBS News, the White House.
Yeah, why not? I'm going to pile on. So he can say all of that, once again, for emphasis.
Because this MAGA crowd is really the most extreme political organization that's existed in American history.
But don't lose sight. The same guy that uttered those words together pretty coherently, I guess. It's the same guy that, has trouble with stuff like this.
That will enhance our underlying effort to accommodate the Russian oligarchs and make sure we take their ill-begotten gains. We're going to accommodate them. We're going to seize their yachts, their luxury homes, and other ill-begotten gains of Putin's kleptocracy. Kleptocracy and the guys who are the kleptocracies. But these are bad guys.
Oh, by the way, the president was up to something today at the White House. He welcomed in Olympians and Paralympians, and Joe was Joe.
And I'm sorry you had to wait that year between the time it was set and time to go. I mean, you've been through so darn much. Been through so much.
Coming up on our final segment, a baseball story. I'm not crying, you're crying. Very cool story. And we'll preview tomorrow's program as well. But first, we mentioned Major League and Bob Uecker. Joe in Arvada apparently has a Bob Uecker story. Joe, welcome. Good evening to you.
Hey, Steffan, love your show as always.
Thank you, brother.
But first, can I make a real quick
Please.
comment about Biden? Since
Please.
You had to play him. Okay, so I lost my dad about 4 or 5 years ago from Alzheimer's.
Mm-hmm.
And like 6 months before he died, my son and I visited him, and he didn't recognize us, know us who we were. And this dawned on me a few months ago. But the weirdest thing about that disease is he could read the name tags of the employees, and he, had the TV on. He could read what's on the TV, but it's just going in one ear and out the other. And I'm thinking, that's Joe Biden. That is Joe Biden.
And I don't even think you're joking, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm
Right.
serious. I mean, I think half the time he is. Yes. I mean, I think it's obvious. But
Honestly,
anyway,
brother, I do too. Go ahead.
Okay. So anyways, Bob Euchre, first a somewhat serious story. I grew up in Michigan, and we visited some friends in Chicago. This was years ago before cell phones. So we saw that the Tigers were playing in Milwaukee, which is just over an hour drive. So we drove up to watch the Milwaukee and the Tigers. And, of course, we put the AM radio on, and we got a little late. Bob Euchre is an excellent broadcaster.
Isn't he?
Play-by-play.
Yes.
Oh,
I'm
he's
so glad.
brilliant. I mean,
So glad
he's
you
right
said
up
that.
there with Vince
Yeah,
Scully.
yeah. I don't know. Vince Scully's on his own. He's on his
Well,
own.
yeah,
level.
and I lived in Southern Cal after
Okay.
I got out of the Marines. Vince Scully, yeah, but he's amongst the best. Put it
Yeah,
that way.
yeah.
Anyways, my favorite line from that. My favorite line from that movie was when he's doing the play-by-play, and he leads the league in offensive categories, including nose hairs.
Listen,
I
watch
loved it.
with us. It is. I think it's funnier than, I'm not saying you, but it's funnier than you may remember. And it again. I don't even know if a film like that would be made the same way today. I don't know. It's not horribly offensive, but they probably.
On that note,
Yeah.
Blazing Saddles obviously would never be
Never.
made again.
If you even
Yeah.
thought about doing that, they'd ostracize you, brother.
But it comes from an era, I think in my opinion, two greatest comedies of all time, kind of, well, maybe a little earlier than that, but you get my point. Caddyshack and Animal House. Those are just classics.
Oh, Caddyshack, Animal House, Blazing Saddles. Look, I've been called
Blazing Saddles.
I've been called a Klansman, so it doesn't really matter what else I say the rest of my life. But Blazing Saddles is one of the most brilliant comedies ever.
Absolutely.
Ever.
No, Brooks was a genius.
Oh.
No, Brooks was a genius.
Yeah, I want to read it. And thank you, Joe, for the call, and Semper Fi to you, Marine. I just saw, I don't know, a couple months ago, and I want to read this. Mel Brooks is out with an autobiography. And I believe it's an autobiography. And I think I might go to the library, Matthew, and maybe pick it up. All right. We never on this program like the following.
I told you so. You didn't listen.
However,
I told you so. You didn't listen.
I've been telling you for months and months and months and months and months and months that the Fed is going to jack those rates up, and by golly, they did today. 0.5 percentage point. Biggest increase since the year 2000. Here's the positive. You may still have equity. I'm sure you do. Don't turn to those credit cards to pay for necessities as everything goes up. Pay off your debt now, and it's more important than ever. If you're a homeowner, you need cash, call my friends at the Town Group, especially say if you're a business owner, you have large write-offs, self-employed, no W-2s. Maybe you've got the income to buy, but a limited down payment. Call the Town Group. Melissa there, they specialize in jumbo loans for the self-employed. Silver lining, again, maybe with skyrocketing home values, you can now access and unlock equity that maybe you haven't been able to do before. If other lenders have told you no, give Melissa 5 minutes to hear your story. If you've got the equity, she can most likely get you a loan. Right now, give them a call before interest rates rise again.
I told you so. You didn't listen.
Call 833-MY-JUMBO. That's 833-MY-JUMBO, or towngroup.mortgage.com, and tell them Steffan sent you. When we come back on this May the 4th, May the 4th be with you, and a pretty heartwarming story out of Toronto. We'll have that next as we wrap up on 710 KNUS.
Now, news, traffic, weather, and the latest on Ukraine.
Well, we had rain this morning, and we may have some more precipitation this evening. Weather is coming up along with traffic. Chief Justice John Roberts called on the recently appointed Supreme Court Marshal, Colonel Gail Curley, to investigate the leak of that draft opinion in an abortion case before the High Court. Now, The leak has triggered protesters, of course, on the left as expected. The Boulder County Sheriff's Office reported a Boulder Catholic church was vandalized last night with anti-religious and other messages like abortion saves lives spray painted on the buildings and other property. Sacred Heart of Mary is located on South Boulder Road. The Fed boosted interest rates by a 0.5 percentage point today, the biggest hike in 22 years. Fed Chair Jerome Powell said inflation is much too high and must come down. So on Wall Street at the closing bell, the Dow gained 932 points to 3461. The S&P 500 grew by 124 points to 4,300. The NASDAQ rose by 401 points to 12,964. Former President Trump says Walt Disney is looking down and asking what has happened to my Magic Kingdom after the company embraced LGBTQ rights and claims that 60% of transgender kids regret it later in life. He told the Christian Broadcasting Network he'll make the decision to run for president again after the November midterms. Steffan returns here in the final segment of the Steffan Tubbs Show. Stay with us. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Big delays continue across Commerce City. Stay off westbound 270. That drives over an hour. Now there's construction. Westbound 270 up near Vasquez, blocking the right lane, backed up onto I-70. To get around it, take I-70 west to I-25 and head north. Out of the downtown area, it's looking a little better on that southbound side of I-25. Crash near Colfax, that's been cleared. Outside northbound I-25, a little crowded, right around University up into downtown. Now we're hearing about a problem up north, I-25 near Thornton Parkway. I'm Susan Phelan.
This report is sponsored by Audible. Whatever you love listening to, you'll find it on Audible. Best-selling audiobooks, exclusive originals, podcasts, and more. Sign up and start free at audible.com.
Mostly cloudy with some lingering areas of showers and isolated thunderstorms through late evening, and maybe a couple of showers going past the midnight hour and into the morning hours of Thursday. Lows will be in the upper 30s. Thursday, a morning sprinkler shower, then clearing. Highs near 70, warming to the mid to upper 70s for Friday and Saturday. Weather brought to you by Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Now with a 2% option, pay less, keep more. ColoradoFlatFeeRealty.com. Meteorologist Don Day on 710 KNUS.
Genetics, stress, hormones, aging, all natural factors that can lead to hair loss. So until we find a way to stop aging, there is fortunately a way to reverse balding and thinning hair using groundbreaking technology. Advanced Hair Restoration's simple one-day treatment can regrow your own natural hair in those places maybe it's disappeared for years. Advanced Hair works for men and women across all ages, and your new hair is backed by the Advanced Hair Guarantee. The top-rated physicians at Advanced Hair, they've improved tens of thousands of lives by reversing the clock on hair loss. Set up your free consultation today. Call them 720-459-HAIR. If it's right for you, you'll also get 250 free hair grafts plus $250 off. We might not be able to prevent all causes of hair loss, but you can regrow your own natural hair with Advanced Hair. 720-459-HAIR, or become inspired with those before and after pictures at advancedhair.com.
This is Ryan Anderson of the Ethics and Public Policy Center for townhall.com. It was an unprecedented leak at the Supreme Court. The draft of Justice Alito's majority opinion overturning Roe v. Wade. What are we to make of this? First, the betrayal of confidence at the court is deeply disconcerting. Putting public pressure on the justices in this way directly undermines the integrity and independence of the judiciary. No justice should allow this act to influence his or her decision, and no citizen should applaud the leak. Second, the draft opinion is outstanding. If something like it becomes the opinion of the court, that will be a victory for constitutional self-government, the rule of law, and, most importantly, for justice. Roe v. Wade was wrong on the day it was decided. Nothing in our Constitution protects a right to choose lethal violence in the womb. Pray for the safety of the justices, the integrity of the court, and that one day will protect the right to life for all Americans, born and unborn.
Perfect air with a personal touch. Only Pastor Camp Heating and AC Inc. can give you authentic Lennox quality and service. They're the people you know and trust right here in our community. And for a limited time, they're offering up to $1,000 in rebates or make no payments for 6 months when you finance a new Lennox system for as little as $132 a month. To get quality Lennox equipment with trusted service provided by Pastor Camp Heating and AC Inc., call 303-777-1234 today or visit them online at pastorcamp.com. Conditions apply. See dealer for details.
News Talk 710 KNUS. Listen live on Odyssey.
Start to plan that dream vacation or just get away, whether it's local, domestic, or international, they can help you at Highlands Ranch Travel. They have such a great portfolio of vacations literally around the world for every kind of traveler. Yeah, you can go online. I'm not saying you're going to, oh my God, you're going to risk it. But to me, there's something old school that I love about Highlands Ranch Travel. Go in if you can. If you're in the area, you don't have to be, but you go in, hear about their experiences, maybe get some recommendations, or you ask some questions. You see a travel brochure, for example. I love that kind of personal touch, and they'd love to meet you in person. Now is the time to stop dreaming and start packing. You can with Highlands Ranch Travel. Get out of town, get out of Dodge, and get on the road again. HRTVL.com. That's HR for Highlands Ranch, TVL Travel, HRTVL.com, or 303-791-2311, 791-2311, and book your appointment with a travel specialist. Please, in fact, do so. Why? Because that little voice I can hear in your head, man, it's been a while since I've had a vacation. So do it. Hey, maybe you want to go to Canada. Maybe you want to go to a Blue Jays game. Well, last night, the New York Yankees at Toronto Blue Jays. And Yankees travel well. They've got fans all over the world. Well, a guy named Aaron Judge, who is an incredible home run hitter, he hit a bomb way, probably 450 plus feet, 500 feet out. I don't think it was a 500 footer, but anyway, way out into the upper deck, upper left field. And the guy who caught that home run ball was a Blue Jays fan. And there was a kid not 2 or 3 seats to his right. And, well.
But Judge was on it.
Not only a Yankee fan, wearing a Judge t-shirt.
So what does the kid get? Well, he didn't catch the home run ball. But that Blue Jays fan gave this Yankees fan named Derek, after Derek Jeter, gave him the ball. If you've seen this on social media, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, it is worth it. I'm not crying, you're crying kind of thing. And it is so simple. To me, it's the beauty of baseball, what even a foul ball means, especially to a child. It was so freaking cool.
Now, we're going to show you something that if you have allergies or if there's dust in the house, this might affect you a little bit. On Aaron Judge's home run, proof positive that there are good things and good people in this world. Watch this. It's caught by a Blue Jay fan, and he gives it to an Aaron Judge fan. Awesome.
I haven't seen that kind of emotion since Mariano Rivera grabbed Andy Pettitte on the mound in his last game.
I've got some pollen in my eyes right now.
Yes.
I'm not crying, you're crying. That wraps up the program. Updating our poll. Who shot first, Han Solo or Greedo?
I don't have it with me. Tell Jabba.
Everybody who's anybody knows. Han Solo shot first, 80% of you on the Twitter poll say Han Solo shot first. 20% you say Greedo.
Come on.
You're imagining things.
Am I? Then why are you following me? Fredo's gonna leave without giving you a goodbye kiss?
I just assumed he's a Wookiee.
I can arrange that.
Friends, may the 4th be with you.
The Force will be with you. Always.
For producer Matt Steinkruger, Blake Olson in the newsroom, Steffan Tubbs saying good night, stay safe and healthy, and remember our troops. Talk to you tomorrow.
This is Brooklyn.